Piñeiro wants it lined up in the center of the field.
Yeah.
He'll have a 34-yard field goal to put the 49ers at 3-0 as they use their final timeout. Cardinals do have 2 timeouts remaining if they wanted to freeze the 49ers kicker.
I'll tell you one more thing in this situation, Dan. We've seen a lot of block kicks today. Somebody that's really good at blocking kicks is Calais Campbell. He's like 9 feet tall in the middle. So I'm hoping that he can get his hands up and maybe disrupt this kick. So let's see what happens.
6 game-winning field goals in Eddie Piñeiro's career, either in the final 2 minutes or in overtime. If you're Jonathan Gannon, do you use the...
The clock has hit 0, and overtime is here.
The 49ers win it!
Mark Grandy and Sterling Bennett are here for instant reaction.
Stop it. Come on.
We'll take you into the locker room and hear from the players and Kyle Shanahan.
I thought Brock did a good job. He has a chance to win.
And, of course, we want to hear from you, the faithful. Overtime starts now.
Yes, it does. What a win. The Niners keep finding ways to get it done. If you're watching on Fox and you've got us up on YouTube or wherever you are, you're seeing the celebration on the TV down at Levi Stadium right now. The 49ers just beat the Arizona Cardinals 16-15. The final, Eddie Piñeiro, the hero, with a 35-yard field goal as time expires. And the 49ers are undefeated. And because of what else happened around the league today, atop the NFC West after 3 weeks. Welcome into overtime here on 95.7 The Game. I'm Mark Grandy. Sterling Bennett with me as always. Sterling, it hasn't been easy in any of the 3 weeks, but the Niners are 3-0. How you doing?
Mark, this game deserves the classic Bonte Hill. Oh, baby! San Francisco 3-0 atop the NFC West just when it looked like the hope was gone.
Oh my
the Cardinals get a safety. Dominic Puni gets called for holding. The game's over. I was throwing in the towel. The Cardinals, like they have done the last 2 weeks, they flub it up. They can't close. In San Francisco, Eddie De Niro, not Jake Moody, takes advantage, Mark. What a great 3 weeks for San Francisco. It might get dicey, but all that matters is you walk away with the W.
Yeah, the win. A win's a win, and this is a huge one. It's a division game. 2 teams that are 2-0. You're without your starting quarterback, your all-pro tight end. You lose your all-pro pass rusher in the first half. You had others that were in and out of the lineup. Juwan Jennings did not play in this game. You managed to get the win. It does not matter how. Style points do not matter at this stage. You get the win. You're 2-0 in the division. You're the only undefeated in your division. The Niners took a very, very, very big step towards making the playoffs with this win here today. Sterling, there's plenty of things to be frustrated by and confused by. You're talking about feeling like the Niners might have lost this game. It was honestly some just questionable decision-making by some players, by Kyle Shanahan. We'll dive into all of that, but we can put that all to the back burner at the moment because the Niners are a 3-0 football team. Mac Jones delivered the balls to, his former teammate, Kendrick Bourne, on the final drive. Sky Moore had a catch on that final drive. So did Jake Tonjes. Christian McCaffrey, a big screen that went for 20 yards to get the Niners into comfortable field goal range. And then Eddie Piñeiro ends it with a 35-yard field goal. Niners win 16-15. Certainly, it kind of felt like it was going to be this kind of football game from the very beginning. There was not a touchdown in this game until early in the fourth quarter. First time in the NFL this year that a game has gone without a touchdown through the first 3 quarters. It was 6-6 after 3. Then a Kyle Juszczyk touchdown, Trey McBride touchdown, a safety on the 49ers, and then the Eddie Piñeiro field goal to win at the very end. What a win. Exhale, Niner fans, and get in here on overtime, 888-957-9570. I see it already. Sterling on the Boxer and Gerson work injury attorneys text line from the 408. I will take an ugly win over a pretty loss any day of the week. Absolutely, no doubt about it. We're not at the point, Sterling, where we're worried about the way in which it looks or the style points. Bottom line, get a win, live to fight another day, get ready for next week, get healthier, hopefully, and move on from there. But today, there's plenty of reasons to celebrate this win.
It's all about taking advantage of that weak schedule. Obviously, the Cardinals pose a different threat than the Saints and the Seahawks do, albeit Seattle's playing really good football as of the last 2 weeks. But if you are San Francisco, these are games you have to win. Get out early because you know the schedule gets tougher as the season goes on, but also get you back to the return of Brock Purdy, the return of George Kittle. Demarcus Robinson comes back next week. Maybe Jawan Jennings comes back next week too. So you're in a good space now as an offense, hopefully to kind of get things moving, because I tell you what, Mark, the Niners offense in this game had me on the ropes. Mac Jones throws the pick late. I'm sitting there like, game's over. Like, this game is cooked. The safety happens, and I'm like, oh, just call it off. Like, San Francisco, no way is going to get a stop with 3.5 minutes left. And look, this defense continues to be a revelation. Robert Saleh, the way those guys are coached, Fred Warner, big third down PBU. How about Upton Stout, a guy that was picked on in week 1, got better in week 2, had one bad penalty late in that game against the Saints, has the play of the game. Game-saving third down stop, fights with Zay Jones all the way to the ground. Third-round draft picks coming up big. The defensive line, Mykel Williams, no Nick Bosa, they're coming up big too.
Mykel was
this
great.
Is a game. Like, the Niners as a whole won this game. Obviously, you want it to be easier, but like the people on the text line said, like the callers have said, like we've said, a win's a win, 16-15. 1 point's all it takes to win in the NFL, Mark. And right now, again, San Francisco at the top of the NFC West with now 2, not 1, but now 2 divisional wins on their record. That is a big difference maker this early in the season. Yeah,
a huge difference maker. If you didn't see what else happened around the NFC West, obviously the Cardinals lose. The Seahawks absolutely dominated the Saints. They won 44-13. So the Seahawks, after losing week 1 to the Niners, have since won 2 games in a row. They're 2-1. The Cardinals, with this loss, also now 2-1. And maybe definitely the most intriguing matchup, I think, of the NFL slate in week 3. The Eagles and the Rams in Philadelphia. It looked like the Rams were going to run away with a victory. They went up, 27-6? 20, something like that. And then the Eagles come all the way back, and they win that game at the very tail end, 33-26. I think it was 26-7, Philly trailing, and then the Eagles scored 26 straight points, and they win that game 33-26. Crazy game there. So the Rams also 2-1. But as you mentioned, the Niners at this point are the only team that has a division win, and they have 2 division wins. So that's a major, major step up for the 49ers at this stage. We'll continue to talk about how the division looks and the Niners, looking to try to win this division as the season goes along. But let's focus here in on this game, and let's line up the calls, 888-957-9570. Who do you want to shout out? Because you mentioned a lot of names, Sterling. I'm gonna go with Mykel Williams off the very jump, because I thought he was awesome in this game. You lose Nick Bosa in the first half, and if you were watching on Fox, you probably saw this. He was looking up probably to some Niner personnel or maybe to his parents. I know they were both in attendance when he was walking off the sideline, and he's looking up towards the press box where I imagine they're sitting, and he gives him a thumbs down. It's a knee injury. Kyle Shanahan, who will speak, we'll hear from him coming up later, but you're down your all-pro pass rusher with a pass rush that is already pretty, to put it, friendliest, is unproven. We don't really know how good it's going to be over the course of the whole season. Unproven at best, and missed a little bit of a beat. They gave up some chunks, and Kyler Murray was effective on the ground in this one, which is going to be the case very likely even if Bosa does play a whole game. But Mykel Williams having to play more on the outside, and then you also have Bryce Huff, who comes in and plays outside, Yetur Gross-Matos a little bit more often, just down the best defensive lineman that this team has, and I still felt like they were winning consistently against that Cardinals offensive line, and a big part of it was Mykel Williams. The rookie's been awesome the last 2 games.
We knew coming into this game the Cardinals' weak link on the offensive line was those 2 guards. But they also don't have their stud left tackle, Paris Johnson. Go Boomer Sooner. He didn't play in this game, and that's also a big loss. So the Cardinals don't really have their starting offensive line. Kelvin Beachum comes in, plays admirably as a veteran backup, but I thought San Francisco's entire defensive line controlled the football today. The run defense was, I think, phenomenal against Ben Simmons. Besides one big play, James Conner got hurt. Hopefully he can get healthy and come back after a brutal leg injury. But James Conner's a heck of a running back. So to stop him, that's a big ask. They were doing that. And it felt like Kyler Murray had pressure on him almost the entire game. Every drive, he was running around, scrambling, trying to make plays, and whether it was Samuel Kawanu, Micah Williams, Kalia Davis was great in this game.
Yeah, he was.
Bryce Huff, all of those guys, that front seven of San Francisco, Fred Warner, D. Winters, that front seven controlled this game.
We saw Bryce Huff
kickoff to the end.
We saw Bryce Huff on first downs in the second half sometimes.
Who would have thought?
The first time we saw that all year. Yeah.
Hey, but it looked good. It looked good.
It did. But, the Niners defense was awesome in this game. There were some tough moments. The Bernardo Green pass interference in the end zone where he just was kind of blindly running and just collides with Zay Jones, who I don't think the ball was intended for. Niners lucked out a couple of times defensively with some drops. Marvin Harrison dropped a wide open, at least 25, 30-yard gain as well, and he dropped that one in the end zone. They later, of course, scored, so that one didn't really matter all that much there. There was another drop out in the flat that probably would have turned into a first and goal, if not a touchdown as well. The Cardinals had to settle for 3 points on that drive, so they left a couple of points out there, the Cardinals did. The Niners, though, largely still played really good defensively, and kind of similar to what we're talking about defensively, Sterling, with some of the youngsters stepping up, the Micah Williams play. I mean, the near safety, not against the Niners, or not against Mac Jones, but almost against Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
That was, correct me if I'm wrong, it was Micah Williams in on the play, or Alfred Collins, but also Micah Williams and C.J. West were involved in the pressure on that play. All three Niners defensive line rookies were right there and nearly forced that safety. The story of this game for me, Sterling, it's those youngsters, specifically those three on the defensive line, and then you look on the offensive side of the football, it's Ricky Pearsall looking like wide receiver one. I mean, you got youngsters winning this football game for the 49ers.
We all thought that it would take some time for these young guys to step up, make plays, and yes, there's still plenty of growth that needs to be had. They played the Cardinals, the Saints, and the Seahawks, albeit those are a couple of good tests for you. They are by far not finished products. However, when you lose Brock Purdy, when you lose George Kittle, when you lose Juwan Jennings, when you don't have Brandon Ayuk, you don't have Demarcus Robinson, you lose your starting left guard. That puts so much pressure on the young guys to pick up the veteran presences that are not on the field. Then you lose Nick Bosa in the first half, and it's like, how is this game going to go? And we hope Nick's okay. We hope we can get him back against Jacksonville next weekend. But you're asking a ton from young guys to step up with the better half of your offense off the football field. And these young guys, in the span of 3 weeks, have gotten, like last Sunday, exponentially better, more impactful plays, getting pressure, better in coverage. How great was Upton Stout in this game?
Yep.
He was awesome late, big clutch play. Marquis Siegel, I know wasn't perfect, but again, had some good run plays. In fact, I think he's the one who hurt James Conner on the play, which again sucks for Conner. But this young defense has just been so fun to watch. They're flying around, making plays. They're well coached. And they don't seem fazed by big moments because young defenses, on that last drive of the game for the Cardinals, that's where young defenses blink. That's where young defenses don't come through. And they have grown up and matured so much in the span of one off season into 3 weeks of the regular season. I love what I see. I don't know how you watch this defense play and say, they might not be great one day. Like, you're thinking the sky is the limit for how great these young guys are going out there and throwing dudes around, getting sacks, getting takeaways, and it's just awesome. It's awesome to watch as a fan, awesome to watch as someone like you and myself, Mark, on postgame like this. But Niner fans, this defense should have you fired up for how good they are.
Yep. At Cardinals, they're not an amazingly special offense. No one's saying that this is one of the better offenses in the league, and we can say the same thing about the Saints. Seattle, I think, is probably the best offense the Niners have faced. That's me personally. They put up 44 today. Now, some of that was special teams, and the Saints aren't anything special to their opponent today. But the Niners have looked good defensively in all 3 games. Has it been perfect? No, of course not. You'd expect that from a younger team. The way that I thought this defense was going to go this year, Sterling, and of course it all changes when your starting quarterback is out and misses at least a couple of games. At least the way in which you're going to have to win football games changes. The calculus changes when you're without your starting quarterback and without George Kittle, and I can go on and on and on and on. But the way that I felt that this season was going to go for the defense was early, there's going to be growing pains. You were going to need to score like 24 or more to win most of your football games. Right. But by the time you get to, say, November and you're in week 10 of the season, this defense was going to prove to be a top 10 unit. But they already feel like they are around that top 10 area right now, given the way that they're playing. I mean, we don't need to mention this guy top of mind every single time because we know who he is. He's the best linebacker in football, but Fred Warner is just off. He is just out of this world.
Yes.
He just has this innate sense of knowing the exact perfect spot to be on every big play. Third down, late in the game, Niners got to get the ball back. Fred Warner kind of rushes the quarterback, then kind of hangs out, doesn't allow the offensive lineman to get engaged with him, senses Kyler ready to throw. He leaps up, knocks it down, incomplete. No big deal there. I mean, he is just absolutely everywhere. And when you have somebody you can rely on like that in the middle of your defense, the quarterback of the defense, it's just so much easier for all of the others, the youngsters, to come along for the ride. The pressure isn't on them to be that dude because Fred is that dude. And I really miscalculated maybe Robert Saleh's impact, maybe how good some of these youngsters would be immediately, but this defense has absolutely blown past my expectations through 3 weeks.
Yeah, I think you can ask anybody. Nobody would have expected this from the Niners defense through 3 weeks of the NFL season. The way they played, the big takeaways they've gotten. Also, the ability to get off the field on third down did not exist last year for this defense. No matter how good they played on first and second down, here comes 3rd and 6, boom, conversion, the drive continues.
That kind of was the case in the first half today.
It was, but you expect that from a mobile quarterback on the opposing offense. And so as the game goes, things tighten up. San Francisco's defense keeps it a field goal game, and I think a lot of the questions still remain on the offensive side of the football, but for the Niners defense, man, getting off the field on third downs, I can't tell you how many marks I have in my notes of third down, forces a punt, over and over and over again. Big PBU, big play that Fred Warner makes or Michael makes to get pressure and force the quarterback out of the pocket to run. They just have a knack of getting their hands, their nose, their body towards the football, and that's how you change games. And this team last year couldn't do that. This team this year, again, albeit it's Seattle and Saints and the Cardinals, don't diminish what they're doing, despite maybe playing bad opponents thus far, because it's not going to get, you play the Giants later. You play the Bears. You don't play great teams this year as a whole, but it gives me confidence to go against the Jaguars and the Rams and against the Buccaneers and the Texans, who aren't perfect and right now have all lost games this year, where San Francisco hasn't just yet.
Yeah, when you say that the schedule gets tougher in the back half of the year, or at least tougher than it is right now, that isn't to say that they play all the best teams in the league later. It just means
you're not playing Green Bay, you're not playing the Chiefs or Philadelphia. You're playing the Seahawks at home, the Cardinals on the road, the Rams at home, the Giants on the road. It gets harder, but you know what I mean, Mark.
It would be difficult to be easier than the first handful of weeks. Yes, there's no doubt about it. And the Niners are 3-0. By the way, just to back up what we're talking about on third down, and then we're going to go out to the phone lines here. You can line them up, 888-957-9570. Arizona in the first half, 4 for 9 on third down. Second half, they were 1 for 6. So 1 for 6 on third down in the second half. That's the difference in this ball game. That is the difference in this ball game. Niners got third down stops. Now, really, the Niners offensively were only 2 for 10 on third down, and they were 1 for 5 in the first half and second half. So they were very consistent there.
Not very good.
But defensively, they were much better defensively on third down in the second half, and they did that without Nick Bosa, which we're going to have to wait and see on Nick Bosa's knee injury. But it's encouraging that they were able to do that defensively in the second half without Nick Bosa. Okay, out to the phones we go. It's overtime here on 95.7 The Game. I'm Mark Grandy. That's Sterling Bennett. We're with you all afternoon and into the evening for your calls and your text as the Niners beat the Cardinals 16-15 on a last-second 35-yard Eddie Pinheiro field goal attempt. Niners 3-0 and alone in first place in the NFC West. Up first is Dan in San Francisco, South San Francisco, who wants to weigh in. What's up, Dan?
Oh, it's Dave.
Sorry about that. Go ahead, Dave.
No, I just had a really stupid question. When the Cardinals got the safety in the end zone, I thought when an NFL team scores points that they kick off to the other team, but the Niners kicked off to them. So I'm just confused about that point.
Gotcha, Dan. Thanks for the call. Yeah, after a safety, the team that got tackled in the end zone, in this case it was a holding penalty in the end zone, that team kicks off. The defense gets the 2 points and the ball. So the safety is essentially a double whammy because the opponent scores and you give the ball up. And at that point, Sterling, it's probably why when you said off the jump, I was getting ready to be talking about a loss because that felt like that was going to be the death knell on this Niner team today.
The Niners in this game had so many opportunities to put the Cardinals away, and they couldn't do it. The Cardinals felt flat almost the entire game, and the minute San Francisco got momentum, got a big touchdown, we can breathe. 2 plays later, they're in the end zone, and you're like, oh man, never mind. They get momentum right back. They get the safety against you because Pooney just got annihilated by Calais Campbell, who was like 97 years old out there making plays still. Yeah. Dude's a dog. Like, my God, that guy is awesome still. Just a great play by him. Blows by Pooney. Pooney kind of gives him a hip push, and that gets a flag. And yeah, I thought it was over. I was like, there's no way you're giving them 2 points and the ball
with 3 minutes left. Yeah.
This is where Kyler milks the game, and we all sit back and say, oh, this is why San Francisco lost. This is the reason. It was a safety difference, really. But to their credit, man, they fight hard, and every game this year, when it felt like it was over, when it felt like every game so far has been Seahawks driving, they have the ball, boom, Nick Bosa strip sack. Saints driving, they have the ball, 1-score game, Bryce Huff strip sack. This game, you're driving, can Mac Jones be trusted? Throws an interception, he's locked in on Pearsall. Shanahan once again dials up an amazing drive, uses the clock correctly, gets the timeout right and everything, and setting up my boy, Eddie De Niro, Mark. He's money, baby. He's money. This is what having a good field goal kicker feels like, man. We can make and win these games again. Eddie De Niro, thank God you are in San Francisco. Thank you, Carolina Panthers, for cutting him and nobody else signing him. You have saved us in week 3. Thank you, Eddie De Niro.
Just to take everyone behind the scenes and peel back the curtain a little bit, the way it works here in the studio is I'm sitting in our studio right now, obviously. We have TVs in here, but there's no sound on these TVs. So when I'm here watching a Niner game or watching a Warrior game, I'm sitting out in like our little lobby area, and we got a big TV up there, and we have the sound on out there because I want to obviously listen as well as opposed to just watch. And you get to the spot where you have one play left, a field goal, make it, and the Niners win, miss it, and the Niners lose. And you're all right. No matter what happens on this play, we're going on the air right after. Overtime begins the second that this game ends. So I tell the guys behind the glass, our guys Cam and Steve, I say, no matter what happens, hit the show open when this kick, goes through or doesn't. And in my mind, there's not a part of me that felt like it was going to be missed. And it's just crazy the way that you can feel, Sterling, with the guy that we don't even really know a whole lot about. Obviously, he's been in the league for a while, but I guarantee you if it was Jake Moody still on this team and making that kick, I would not have had that feeling in the back of my mind. I would have been like, oh my God, he's probably going to miss this, isn't he?
I guarantee you, if Jake Moody trotted out there, fans are leaving the stadium knowing the outcome, and they have their head downs hanging. Like, that's how bad it was with him. And, Jake Moody's gone, and we wish him well, but you're right, Mark. While you're obviously there sitting on the edge of your seat, still waiting to see the outcome, there is so much more confidence that where San Francisco, or when they're driving down the field, when they have 2 timeouts left and 2 minutes to go, that if they can just get to the 30-yard line, the 28-yard line, the 35-yard line maybe, who knows? He's got a leg, he's fairly accurate, and you have more confidence that ball's going in. And we talked about the entire preseason, the first 2 weeks, mainly week 1 against Seattle because Jake Moody was still here, why field goal kickers matter, how they can be the difference in tight games. And we're seeing it right now, Mark. The only reason why San Francisco wins this game late is because, one, great defense, but because they have a kicker that can change the outcome. Kickers matter, folks. Kickers really matter. Ask every other team in football this weekend. So many guys are missing kicks, so many special teams mistakes. You got the Eagles blocking a kick and running it back for a touchdown. The Packers lost because they couldn't make their own field goal because Cleveland blocked their kick.
The Jets almost beat the Buccaneers because they blocked a field goal and returned it for a touchdown. It's happening everywhere.
And San Francisco maybe has played their cleanest special teams game in a year, 2 years.
Yeah.
And it was a big difference in the win today.
Back out to the phones here in just a sec. Guru, you'll be up next. But I do want to just say really quick, we're going to hear from Kyle Shanahan coming up in a little bit. I do want to get this news out of the way now. On Nick Bosa, Kyle Shanahan was asked if they can rule any specific injury out for Bosa. It is a knee, and I believe he was asked if it could be an ACL. He said, quote, "No, we can't rule anything out. They checked for ACL and stuff there. He was good with that, but we're still not sure, so we got to check with more things tonight and tomorrow." So it does seem like maybe slightly good news that the ACL initially tested out positive. Shanahan not confident enough to completely rule that out, but initial tests suggest not an ACL tear, which is very, very good news.
Good news.
Any significant knee injury is, of course, a very, very bad thing, but we're going to have to wait and find out more from Nick Bosa or from the testing on Nick Bosa's knee. But Sterling, good initial news that it does not appear to be a torn ACL.
I never felt it was. He was walking on it. I know he walked off the field limping, but I never got the sense it was too serious. But it's good to hear that it maybe isn't the ACL. Obviously, Nick tore it in 2020 on the other leg, and we know how brutal that was for San Francisco's defense, so some good news there. And I'm not sure if you saw on Twitter, or X, I guess, that Jennifer Lee Chan at NBC Sports Bay Area reported that Nick Bosa walked out of the San Francisco locker room with his mother and his father. His dad was carrying his bags, and Nick was not on crutches. So maybe some more good news there for San Francisco. And again, fingers crossed they can avoid any structural damage to that knee. My hope is it's just a hyperextension.
Yep.
That's like kind of the best case scenario, which will probably make Bosa miss next Sunday, but fingers crossed it's not the case.
Man, the hits just keep on coming to the Niners stars. You're without your all-pro tight end. You're without your quarterback. You're without one of your key receivers in Juwan Jennings. You're down an offensive lineman in Ben Barch. You got all these injuries to all these key guys, and now we wait and see on Nick Bosa. It does seem initially some good news, not an ACL tear, according to Kyle Shanahan, for Nick Bosa's knee. Okay, back out to the phones we go here on overtime. Niners beat the Cardinals 16-15 on a walk-off field goal by new kicker Eddie Pinheiro. Up next, as promised, is Guru in San Jose. Guru, what's up? What'd you think of that Niner win?
Hey guys, thank you so much for taking my call. Yeah, I mean, what a like a roller coaster victory. It could have gone either way, frankly. I know that you, Mark, you had that Eddie Pinheiro field goal going in. I still have Jake Moody withdrawal symptoms, so I was watching that kick with every butterfly in my stomach just flying. But I'm glad that he made it, and I'm glad we got Eddie Pinheiro, right? But I just wanted to take a moment to talk about this defense. You guys talked about it so much. They are the opposite of last year's defense. Like, they are super clutch. Like, last year I thought they were anti-clutch in a way, but this year they're super clutch. And Upton Stout, I need to give that guy a shout out. Like, he's a football player. Like, he's a rookie. He makes mistakes, but you can just tell, like, he's able to do almost everything on defense. Like, he blitzes off the edge. He sets the edge in the run game too, and he's able to play in coverage. And I mean, he looks like a complete football player to me. And as a rookie coming in the first 3 weeks of the year playing that way, I mean, but my God, like, I love him already. Like, frankly, maybe I'm too excited about him because it's just only been 3 weeks. But man, what a player! And Mac Jones, like, we saw, like, he was limping a lot coming into that fourth quarter, and we thought that his confidence was shot like after he threw that interception and when he had the safety, I thought we weren't going to get anything out of Mac Jones for him to gut it out with that ripped jersey and coming in that last drive and make some key decisions. I thought that the Niners had their best offense when they sort of ran the 7 seconds or less offense. I think like when it was just like get the ball, get it out type of deal where you didn't have to worry about the O-line. By the way, the O-line, I think we need to talk about it at some point. It's starting to become a really, really big concern. And we already knew this coming in. But credit to Mac Jones for that last drive. Ricky Pearsall, what a beast. I cannot wait for him to be our number 2. And go Niners, man. What a win. What a win.
Yeah, absolutely. Guru, thanks for the call. Ricky was awesome. He had 8 catches, 117 yards. Biggest catch of his career was that big 34-yarder for the 49ers that set up the go-ahead touchdown. That was a huge one. And then who Guru was talking about early, Upton Stout. I mean, Upton Stout in this game, he had 5 tackles. He had a pass broken up, and that was the big play on 3rd and 10 from midfield, the Cardinals' final drive. I was kind of surprised the Cardinals threw it. I get it. If you get the first down, the game's over. But you also can kill a lot of clock if you just keep it on the ground, or maybe a little bit of a safer throw and you try to run and catch for the first down. That's one where oftentimes I think a team might be expecting a run or a quick pass, and then you can kind of beat a team out beyond the sticks. And Upton Stout, credit to him, continued fighting with Zay Jones. It hit Zay Jones in the hands, and he had it. Like, he essentially had it caught, and he was pulling it into his body as he's falling to the ground, and Upton Stout continuing to fight, and he ultimately punches that ball free. Hell of a play. Hell of a play by Upton Stout. Niners lose this game, Sterling, if Upton Stout does not make that play. Like, that gave them a chance to win this football game. Upton Stout versus the veteran Zay Jones.
It's grit, man. This team has a grit. Last year's team would have folded over like they were just paper, just whoop, over. They lose.
They wouldn't have had a chance to win this game in the fourth quarter.
No.
It would have already been over.
The Cardinals would have scored 25 points against this defense last year. And this team today has grit. They have tenacity. They just get in your face. And not to, utilize Micah Williams' college mascot, but they're a bunch of dogs. Like, they get out there and they get in your face. Like they want to get up in you. And like they want to get in the defense and go nuts, man. And really, the way this defense continues to almost be the driving force of the outcomes of these games. Obviously, the front seven's great. Winters, Warner flying around making plays. But even the secondary, for as young as they are, and while I certainly have my issues with Bernardo Green every game this year, there's been one drive where it's like, whoa, did you forget to play football for a second? But other than that, man, they're growing, they're learning, they're surviving, and right now they're thriving being 3-0. So, this defense is awesome to watch every time they're on the field. While, yes, there is the anxiety of can they get a stop, there is that confidence that they're more likely going to get the punt than not. They're going to make a big play, and this game will continue in San Francisco's favor than not. So the utmost confidence in this defense, the young guys to the oldest guy, they're making plays, they're getting sacks, they're getting takeaways, they're knocking balls out of guys' hands late, which really – that is the Upton Stout play. It's playing through the entire whistle. The guy has the ball in his hands. I'm not going to stop till he's on the ground, and that's what Stout did. He's an undersized nickelback out there taking on Zay Jones, who is an outside receiver above 6 foot. That's a tough play just based on height and weight discrepancy. And Stout, being the dog he is, Western Kentucky, I'm sure he's proud today out there making plays. The biggest one of the game for San Francisco's defense.
Yeah, and obviously we got to credit the individuals making the plays, and we've given a lot of credit to Upton Stout already. You shouted out Marquise Siegel, Fred Warner. He's that every single day. Giamador Lenore rarely gets targeted, it seems. Like, all these guys deserve kudos for the way that they're playing. But it's also pretty dang clear, Sterling, that maybe the number one difference maker when you compare last year to this, it is just having Robert Saleh. And what Robert Saleh does to a defense, I mean, he's a magician. Fred Warner came on 95.7 The Game earlier this week with Willard and Dibs and essentially said on having Robert Saleh back, that guy's a fortune teller. Like, he knows what's going to happen before it happens. He just finds a way, and that's only one half of it, right? Like, actually making the right call in a situation, that's half the battle. The other half the battle is like just putting your players in position to succeed and coaching them up in such a way that they do play through the whistle, that they do have that grit, that bulldog mentality that you're talking about. Because there were a lot of ways to describe this Niner defense last year and really the last 2 years, maybe second half of 2 years ago and last year, specifically last year, but you saw some signs before that as well. And honestly, it was a team that seemed to lack some emotional toughness.
Yeah, they were timid, and frankly just kind of soft. And once things went wrong, it would snowball, and they could not stop that momentum from going against them. It seems like this year's team, Sterling, they have the memory of Klay Thompson who misses a three. A short memory. It's gone. I don't remember that miss. I don't remember that mistake. I'm shooting 40 more.
I'm shooting again. I'm going in there. I'm flying to the ball. I'm putting my hat on the ball, trying to force a fumble, force whatever, make a good tackle. I don't care if I just made a mistake. I'm wiping that slate clean, and I'm going again 100%. Obviously, Robert Saleh, as one of the major difference makers from last year to this, he deserves endless credit for what this defense has done through 2 weeks.
Oh, that's a great point. The way Saleh, his demeanor, the way he commands the room, the way he's in the meetings, the way you see him out there on the sideline flexing, yelling at the ref, saying, that's a safety, kind of vouching for his guys of like, no, I'm going to fight for you because you're fighting for me as a defensive coordinator. Whereas Nick Sorensen last year, no offense, he just mild-mannered, quiet guy, sit back, oh, he played fine today, oh, it's miscommunication. No, it's not miscommunication. You're just not good at what you do. And that's okay. That's okay. That's why I'm not hearing anymore. But Saleh out there, it's almost over communication. If I want to make sure you guys are so over prepared for what's coming, I'm going to put you guys in the right place at the right time.
Yep.
Know when to call a blitz, know when to call a stunt. And while you guys are out there fighting through injuries, Micah Williams, the wrist injury, while you guys are on the football field for a 10, 12, 13 play drive and keeping us in this football game, I'm on the sideline making sure we're all set up in order and we're arguing with the refs, trying to get you guys the extra yards, the extra plays. And this is what happens in tight games like this when your offense is all banged up and the opposing defense is all banged up. It becomes an instant chess match, and San Francisco right now has two of the best chess players in football. Shanahan's great. Saleh's great. It pays to have two head coaching guys as your OC and your DC.
Yeah, absolutely. We got to hit a break. We're going to get to the phone calls when we come back. Trevor and Rolando, I see you. You're coming up right when we return from break. I also think, Sterling, what Saleh allows is it allows that other, chess player that you're talking about to focus solely on his half of the game. Because what happened last year was you felt like Shanahan's attention was being split between the entire team when Shanahan's at his best, when he can focus solely on offense. Now he has somebody that he trusts entirely to run the defense. He doesn't have to worry about that side of the ball, and he knows he can just figure out what's going to happen on offense. Okay, time for a break here on Overtime. When we come back, your calls again. Trevor and Rolando, I see you. Plenty more time for you guys as well if you want to weigh in at 888-957-9570. It's overtime after another Niner win, 16-15. The Niners are 3-0 and atop the NFC West through 3 weeks. Time for a break. Back with more next on 95.7 The Game.
Hi, I'm Dustin, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. I know finding a dream engagement ring can be overwhelming, but don't worry, we got you. As director of diamond sourcing, it's my job to make sure every single diamond at Shane Company is truly the best of the best. Our team travels the world to see diamonds up close, in person. We handpick each one for its unique fire, brilliance, and scintillation. Diamond buying is an art. Of course, we look at cut, color, clarity, and carat, known as the 4 C's, but that's not all. We also look at how each diamond looks on a hand, where it will be worn, how it makes you feel, and if it's worthy of a Shane Company customer. That type of expertise only comes from working for a company that's been a family business since 1929. We also think about your budget. We only pick the best in each grade in all shapes and sizes. Your diamond is guaranteed to be the most beautiful because a friend wants you to pick from only the best. Drop by your store or shaneco.com and see for yourself. Shane Company.
On us. The broken coffee maker? That one's still on you, which means you'll save hundreds for your business and get the fastest mobile service with 5G cellular and Wi-Fi hotspots. On us. But hurry, this deal won't last long. Get a mobile plan and free up the budget to maybe, I don't know, fix that coffee maker? Get mobile on us for 1 year. You guessed it. On us. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 10/21/25. Restrictions apply. New mobile customers only with internet standard service or above. Limited to value of one unlimited intro line applied via 12 monthly internet bill credits. One discount per account. Fastest mobile based on mobile Wi-Fi and cellular data and service series. Ookla Speed Test Intelligence Q1 to Q2 2025.
Hey, it's Joe Shasky here for Ceremony Ford, and let me keep it real with you. If you've been thinking about making the switch to an electric ride, now is the time to pull the trigger because Ceremony Ford in Colma is ending the summer with some heat. So check this out. Slide into a brand new 2025 Mustang Mach-E for just $225 a month on a lease. That's right, $225 a month for 36 months. Or if you're ready to buy, lock in 0% APR financing for 72 months and grab a $2,000 rebate. Who else is giving you that? Only Ford. But here's the kicker. The federal EV tax credits on Mach-E and the F-150 Lightning are about to expire September 30th. You wait, you lose. Don't let Uncle Sam keep your money. Ceremony Ford has one of the biggest inventories in Northern California, and they're ready to hook you up. Find them right off at 280 in Colma or online 24/7 at ceremonyford.com. That's Ceremony Ford, the Bay Area's Mach-E superstore. Tell them Butcher sent you.
Hey, it's your boy Guru. Every time we put a rat on the table during our show, it's brought to you by Atco Pest Control. Atco Pest Control is a family-owned local business proud to provide pest control in the Bay Area for over 35 years. Atco uses natural methods to give you a peace of mind and keep your family out of harm's way. Quality pest control doesn't have to empty your savings either. Don't wait. Go to AtcoPestControl.com for all your pest control needs. They got you covered.
Another app for inventory, one for CRM. Oh, don't forget accounting. Wait, which login was that?
Or you could use Odoo, one fully integrated system that does it all without the hassle. Ditch the app overload. Get everything your business needs on one platform. Try Odoo free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Let me tell you about this new Pretzel Cheddar Club. Hey, I'm Carlos.
And I'm Ebony. And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Pretzel Cheddar Club
is the tangy Dijon with the pretzel bun. It takes it to a whole nother level.
It goes perfectly with the chicken and the cheddar cheese and the bacon.
Man, you know how much you love bacon. And I love the different varieties. Grilled, spicy, original. It gets you nice and excited for fall.
Order the Pretzel Cheddar Club with cherry berry and Sprite for a limited time on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
All right, team, it's game time. Blue 42, California Ace scratch right on one.
Wait, what play is that?
Keep up, man. He said play scratchers for the California Lottery.
Oh.
With the new Los Angeles Chargers, San Francisco 49ers, and Los Angeles Rams scratchers, it's always a great call.
For sure.
On one. Ready, set, go!
Play the new Game Day Scratchers from the California Lottery. A little play can make your day. Please play responsibly. Must be 18 years or older to purchase, play, or claim.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ-FM in HD1 San Francisco, on Odyssey Sports Station. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube. Powered by First NorCal Credit Union.
Pinheiro, the 6-year man out of Florida, who made his San Francisco debut last week, has 6 game-winning field goals in his career. Last 3 years with the Carolina Panthers. Started as a soccer player in Miami before he started playing high school football as a senior. Trying to do what he's done a half dozen times before and win the game with his leg. Sweeps it, delivers it, and San Francisco is in first place. They win it at the Horn. Mac Jones steps in for Brock Purdy and delivers the drive. Pinheiro delivers the winner.
Now back to Overtime. Instant reaction to the game with Mark Grandy and Sterling Bennett. We are the Bay Area's football station. 95.7 The Game.
Hell of a call by Adam Amin on Fox. Eddie Pinheiro, a walk-off 35-yard field goal. Niners beat the Cardinals 16-15 is the final. Niners 3-0, 2 wins in the division in Seattle at home versus Arizona. Despite being down Brock Purdy for 2 games, despite being down George Kittle for nearly all 3 games, despite missing Nick Bosa for basically the entire final 3 quarters of this game, despite not having Jawan Jennings in this game, despite all of the other injuries, right? No Brandon Ayuk all season, no Malik Mustafa all season. The Niners, Sterling, are 3-0, and they are alone in first place in the NFC West. Considering what this team has faced on the injury front already and the fact that they're 3-0, this has been an absolutely amazing beginning to the 49ers season, Sterling. If you would have told me that they would be dealing with all those injuries, I would not have picked a 3-0 start.
I think if you told me that Brock Purdy was the only injury, they'd be 3-0. I would have said, no way. There's no way. Like, they'll lose one of these games, and Brock, albeit played against the Seahawks and pretty much won them that game late. Thank you, Jake Tunges. Yeah, Mac Jones, man, 2 games. Again, you ask Niner fans, Mac Jones starts the year for 2 games for you. You're sitting back like, well, season's over. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And Mac, for his own credit, has played fairly well. Obviously today, the big, almost near, kind of felt like game-ending interception for the offense. But this team is resilient, man, and you got to give him credit. Like, that culture that John and Kyle Shanahan established all the way back in 2017 with Robert Saleh still permeates the halls of the building. And despite the turnover they've had, the coaching changes they have had, and the newcomers they brought in to the roster, man, like, they feel it. This team knows they can win any game. They're young. Maybe sometimes they can play over their skis at times, but they're young, they're dumb, and they like to have some fun, man, and I'm all for it.
Me too. 888-957-9570. We're taking your calls all evening long. 16-15 Niner win versus the Cardinals in the home opener down at Levi Stadium. Out to the phones we go. Again, if you want to weigh in, 888-957-9570. Trevor in Reno has been very patient, and now we welcome him on to Overtime here on 95.7 The Game. Trevor, what'd you think of that Niner win?
Well, if I was a cat, as I was mentioning earlier, if I was a cat, one of my lives is taken just from this game alone. I mean, of course, men are like dogs, though, because I was also drooling with the win. But I will say, I'm going to keep it short because you guys have a lot of callers. I'm sure. Just 2 questions. One, is Robert Saleh going to is he contracted for a while? And if not, what are they going to have to do to sign him? Because he is a huge difference maker. And then 2, what are your concerns of the 49ers offensive line today? To me, I think Pooney is still not over his injury. But, I mean, great win. But do you have any concerns for the offensive line? Thank you.
Appreciate the call and good questions, Trevor. I want to, before I forget about the first one, I want to answer that one. In the back of my head, Sterling, this has kind of been the way that I've seen this going for a while. Robert Saleh will be the Niners defensive coordinator until he gets a head coaching offer that he wants. Maybe he doesn't want any head coaching offer. Like if the Browns come open, maybe he doesn't want to go to the Browns, right? Like maybe there's a terrible situation that he would refuse to go to. But until he gets a head coaching offer that he wants, he will be the DC. Now, that very well could happen this offseason. I would not expect Saleh to be the Niners DC for all that long. But when you consider what's happening at a certain other former Niners defensive coordinator, and he's their head coach, you consider what is happening down in Houston. They're 0-3, and they just lost to Jacksonville in relatively lifeless fashion. Maybe D'Amico Ryans isn't long for the head coaching role either, and maybe the Niners replace a potentially vacated DC position if Saleh leaves with another former DC in D'Amico Ryans. I tend to think Robert Saleh, he's at least going to get interviews this offseason, Sterling. It's way too early to talk about that, but he is very, very possibly going to be a head coach again next year.
I think he's the highest paid defensive coordinator in football. And if he's not, he's pretty close. I know San Francisco had to give him a pretty penny to bring him back as a DC, which right now feels like money well spent if you are Kyle, John, and Jed York at the top of the ownership group. But Saleh probably is not here for the long game, albeit it may be 1-2 years down the road. Who knows? But he does have the ability to be a little greedy and pick the right place he wants to go to, knowing that when you're a failed defensive coordinator that becomes a head coach and you're not an offensive genius or offensive-minded head coach, you don't get many opportunities in today's age. And so he can be a little bit more greedy, and that may help San Francisco for the next 1 to 2 years. Who knows? But Saleh's not here for the long game. I think he's using it as a jumping-off point to go elsewhere, but I wouldn't be shocked to see DeMecca or even Mike McDaniel back in San Francisco if those teams in the AFC continue to struggle.
I mean, two head coaches that are probably on the hottest seats right now are two former Niner assistants. So maybe that means they come back with Kyle Shanahan, much like happened with Robert Saleh, of course, this past offseason.
Well,
go ahead.
Well, I'll say it's funny the caller brings up the offensive line in San Francisco because the offensive line in Houston might be a lot worse than what we have in San Francisco. It may make us feel somewhat more appreciative of who we have here, but to the caller's point, Grandy, this offensive line, man,
talk to me.
It's not fun to watch. It's not fun.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking through my notes and all the different holding penalties that I noted. There's a Jake Brendel hold that pushed the Niners back near midfield on a drive just before the end of the first half. That was a big reason why it felt like they settled for a field goal attempt. I know you want to talk about that drive specifically as well. We've noticed something about Shanahan at end of halves and the way that he tends to get kind of conservative when he has, 2-3 minutes instead of just a minute to play with. There was a holding there on Brendel that made that drive a whole lot more difficult. There was a hold first drive out of halftime in the third quarter on Connor Colby. It took away a 7-yard McCaffrey run. That kind of backed them up, and they ultimately did get a first down after that, but they couldn't continue that drive. That hold on Colby. Now, he's a backup. He's filling in for Ben Barch, so it's not like you expect Connor Colby to be your best offensive lineman or one of your best, but that was a bad one. And then, of course, you had Dominic Pooney getting absolutely abused by Calais Campbell in the end zone to the point where he felt like he had to grab him and got called for a hold in the end zone. That's a safety. Felt like it was going to lose the 49ers the game. All those ones, though, Sterling, obviously, they hurt you. I'm just more so concerned about the relative lack of success in the run game by the 49ers. It got going a whole lot more in the second half. McCaffrey began breaking some big ones. Brian Robinson only rushed twice, which I thought was really interesting today, and didn't get his first carry, I believe, until the fourth quarter, right? He had a carry, inside the 5 when they ultimately turned it over on downs, and then he had another one on that final drive where he broke one for 19 yards down the right side on that pitch. That was their most successful run of the game. Brian Robinson usage is interesting. We can talk a little bit more about that later. My concerns about the offensive line, Sterling, are honestly kind of reversed what I initially feared about them coming into the year. I thought this was going to be, as it tends to be, an average to above average run blocking team, but a below average pass blocking team. I have been surprised by how little room there has been for them on the ground, to the point where McCaffrey in the first half, in the first half, McCaffrey had 5 rushes for 9 yards. In the first half of football, 9 rushing yards for Christian McCaffrey. I'm concerned about the run game right now, and a lot of it is because of the offensive line.
Yeah, you've seen this offensive line, even last year, which is pretty much the same unit as it was, minus, Barch and Colby now playing left guard.
Yep.
They're just not playing well. They're not moving guys off, where you'd see a couple years ago where this team, you had Christian McCaffrey Offensive Player of the Year, and really even before that, Elijah Mitchell had success, Matt Breida had success, Tevin Coleman had success behind the offensive line. They're not pushing guys, and obviously it depends on the defense, what they're playing. Are they playing two-shell? Are they playing, are they stacking the box against you, which the Cardinals were today, knowing that?
Yeah, no Jawan, no Kittle, no all those guys. Yeah.
You are selling out to stop CMC, which they did.
Your wide receiver 2 is Kendrick Bourne, and your wide receiver 3 is Marquez Valdez-Scantling. So, sack the box.
He had a catch today? Don't hate. He had a catch.
He did. And Bourne was
the
big.
First drive or whatever it was.
And Bourne was big in the fourth down, in the fourth quarter.
But, Mark, you are right. This team cannot run the football. In fact, I think they are the only offense through 3 weeks so far to not have a rushing touchdown.
That's crazy.
If you would have told me coming into the year
Oh my God.
that Christian McCaffrey's back, you trade for Brian Robinson, and you're not going to have a rushing touchdown, to a point where at the point in time, the biggest drive of the game, where it's all Ricky Pearsall for 20-plus yards, for 8 yards, for 5 yards on 1st and 17, a big 3rd and 4 conversion for a first down. It's like, oh, Pearsall's the guy. He's him. You get into the red zone, and you run once with Robinson. Goes nowhere, basically. You then run 2 more times, and it goes nowhere again, forcing you into a 4th and short, which they don't get because Mack Wilson blows up Christian McCaffrey on a little check down. This team, and it's the bigger problems in the red zone. That is where this offensive line, the weapons, should be able to get themselves 6 points. They haven't done that for a year and a half now, a year and 3 weeks now. That's a big problem. It is now no longer it's a bad year, 2004, bad juju. No, it's happening now where you are 3-0. Like, you're winning despite your running game really not being effective, which to someone's point of view might be a good thing because once it gets going, you win more games. But if it never gets going, you have a big problem on your hands.
Yeah, Rolando, we're coming to you in just a sec, but to continue on that angle that we were talking about earlier, Sterling, if you would have told me Niners are 3-0 after 3 weeks, and Brock Purdy did not play in 2 of those 3 games, how would they have gotten those 3 wins? I would have told you McCaffrey's averaging 150 yards per game on the ground. Just big chunk play after big chunk play. Brian Robinson is, coming in and breaking one for 25 yards every game, and maybe he's up around 45, 50 yards on the ground every game, and the Niners are getting darn near 200 yards per game on the ground. That would have been what I would have thought. If you also, say no Ayuk, Juwan misses this game, he's kind of been banged up all season, and you don't have Kittle for really 2.5, almost all 3 games. How are they 3-0? I would have told you that they're dominating on the ground. And the fact that they are 3-0 while not dominating on the ground with all of those injuries still, it makes it all that more impressive. And I don't want to hear the schedule game because Seahawks, Saints, Cardinals, any of those 3 teams coming into the year with legitimate NFC championship game aspirations? No. I think 2 of those teams had legitimate postseason aspirations in the Seahawks and the Cardinals. They're both better than average football teams in my mind. But you don't have the quad 1 win on your resume just yet. But the fact that you look at what else happened around the NFL today, Sterling, the Green Bay Packers lost to the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns. The
Joe Flacco, baby.
Yeah, the Buccaneers, if it wasn't for Baker Mayfield just being the best quarterback in the history of the league in 2-minute drills, they would have lost to the New York Jets at home today. The Dallas Cowboys allowed Caleb Williams to put up 31 points on them today, and they lost 31-14.
Sorry, Guru.
This happens all over the NFL. Teams losing games they have no business losing. The Falcons got outscored 30-0 by Carolina. Bad teams, quote unquote, bad teams beat quote unquote better teams all the time. The fact that the Niners have just simply held serve in their 3 games, Sterling, that is impressive in and of itself, even without any injuries. I'm sorry. I don't care who the opponents are. Winning football games in the NFL is so hard. They're 3-0.
Can I sulk a bit here because I have Michael Penix as my starting fantasy quarterback?
Oh, yeah, that's an L.
Winning fantasy football games feels a bit harder right now. I'm 0-3, and I'm not happy about it. My wife is 3-0, and I'm like, what is happening? This marriage is certainly in question. Why does she know more about football than I do? I host a Niners postgame show. What's happening? But nonetheless, you are right, Mark. Winning football games is tough. And San Francisco hasn't just won 3 games. They've won 3 games that are really close, really tight, without their starters, and more importantly, 2 division games. Division games are always the toughest ones each year. They determine your playoff seeding. They determine if you're even going to be in the playoff conversation. So San Francisco may have one of the more sparkling beginnings amongst the 3-0 teams in the NFL.
And I know you know this answer. I'm just going to ask it to you so you can tell the audience. How many division games did the Niners win last year, Sterling?
Was it 0?
It was 1. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know it, but I knew it was low. I knew it was really low.
Just one. One division game last year.
Oh, it was Seattle in Seattle.
They beat Seattle in Seattle. That was it. And that's
when the season was alive still.
That's over the course of the entire season. 18 weeks of football, one division win last year. They've played 3 football games this year. They have 2. They have 2.
They have half their wins as last year, too.
That's sad.
We're alive, folks. We're alive.
In one way, that's sad. Another way, that's freaking exciting for this year.
Yeah,
There's no
is.
doubt. 888-957-9570. Niners beat the Cardinals 16-15. They're 3-0. And thanks to I can't believe I'm saying this. Thanks to the Eagles for beating the Rams. The Niners are alone in first place in the NFC West at 3-0. Back out to the phones we go. Plenty more time for your calls as well. 888-957-9570. Up next is Rolando in Napa. Rolando, hell of a win. How you doing?
Doing good. How are you, man? I love listening to you guys. You guys are awesome. I'll talk about that. I need oxygen. I needed oxygen IV.
Same.
And said, it was just, I was just stressed. And then I have a couple points to make. How did we get Eddie Pinheiro, man? With the league struggling with kickers, how did Niners get this guy? Weren't other teams on it? And thank God that the Niners got this guy because even money and Pearsall's a dog, man. I think he's the number receiver, and my prediction, he's going to break 1,000 yards this year. Mark my words. And the only thing is for Eddie Pinheiro, man, when I saw him celebrating, just don't celebrate too much, Eddie Pinheiro, because I have memories. You guys tell me who was the field goal kicker who celebrated and hurt himself? Do you guys remember this? It was years ago. The guy hit field goal. Do you remember? Was it Grammatica? It was somebody hit a game-winning field goal, and he was celebrating, jumping up and down, and I believe he tore his ACL. I don't know if you guys remember this.
Vaguely, I don't remember who. I'll try to look it up.
It was Bill Grammatica, Cardinals versus the Giants.
Yes.
2001.
He tore his ACL.
Yep.
Yes. That was the one. It was a game-winning field goal, and he was jumping up and down and blew out his knee. And I was just waiting for Andrew Bug to hit Eddie Pinheiro. I was like, Eddie Pinheiro, just thumbs up. Don't jump up and down. Just a thumbs up. That's all I need.
So what you're saying is, if there was one thing you want Pinheiro to take from Jake Moody is low-key celebrations. That's the one thing.
Yes, low-key celebrations.
Okay.
Just take care of your legs. Don't be celebrating. That's it.
Yeah,
So,
appreciate.
Go Niners.
Yeah,
man.
go Niners. Appreciate the call, Rolando. And I mean, you're right about Pinheiro. I mean, Sterling, I know you feel this same way. We talked about this not just week 1 this year. I think we probably talked about it when we were doing draft shows earlier this year as well. We also talked about it last year because these Jake Moody issues are not unique to recently, right? It has been an issue for a very long time. There are comparable kickers just waiting out there that are on they're free agents that are not on rosters. That some of them are on practice squads, which you can poach from practice squads. Some of them are not on anything. They're nowhere to be. Anyone in the world can go and sign these guys without any constraints. And so many of those guys are at the very least comparable to the back half, the worst 16 kickers in the NFL. If you're a top 10 kicker in the league, if you're Brandon Aubrey, right? If you're a Carlson for the Raiders, you are not replacement level. You are above replacement level. You are better by a decent margin than the guys that you can just go out and sign off the street. But if you are already a back half of the league kicker, there is not that much that differentiates you from somebody off the street. And I think what a lot of teams around the NFL are learning is that that's the case. And I don't think anybody should be surprised if Eddie Pinheiro is a more accurate field goal kicker than Jake Moody. Maybe he doesn't have the leg, and maybe it changes the decisions to kick in certain spots because he can hit from 53 and in or whatever it is, and maybe you feel more comfortable with Moody from 55, whatever. It does not matter. But I'm just telling all you guys out there, it does not surprise me at all that Eddie Pinheiro has proven already to be more reliable from 45 yards and in, because that's what a lot of these guys can do that are just on the street. It's just the reality of the kicking position.
The caller asked us, why was Eddie Pinheiro out there still? Why did the NFL not sign him? And it's because, really, unless you have, like you were saying, one of those elite guys, Aubrey, Carlson, you're just kind of seeing what works, and you're kind of going week by week. You're seeing teams now that are signing kickers and cutting the one they have, and then re-signing the one they cut to bring him back. Like, everyone's trying to figure this thing out. It was funny enough, San Francisco's kickers, Joey Sly and Chase McLaughlin, are some of the best in football currently, so you could have had those guys, but
the point is, those guys were also available for them when things went wrong, and they just signed them because they were there. And now they're some of the best kickers in the league. Like, this happens every single year. Every year it happens. So it got to the point, Sterling, where there was absolutely no reason that Jake Moody should have been this team's kicker. And frankly, I'm upset that I'm spending this much time on Jake Moody right now because we're 2 weeks removed from him being this team's kicker. But you're right. I mean, if Jake Moody was the Niners kicker in New Orleans and today versus the Cardinals, there's a chance that the Niners are 1-2 and they lose both those games. Like that. This is exactly what we were talking about, Sterling. When the 49ers, when you are a team that feels good about your chances to win your division and make the playoffs, but you feel like a lot of these games might kind of be on a razor's edge, right? Like the margin is very, very thin. You have to have faith in your special teams unit and specifically your kickers, because they can easily swing games. And if Jake Moody just misses one kick here or there, that's the difference between being 3-0 or 2-1 or 1-2.
I would like to see the advanced analytics, the EPA for the Niners special teams, now that they're no longer missing kicks, and how much better it probably is. It's probably gone from like 32 up to like 15 because it has to. The way Moody just dragged everything down to a point where you didn't trust him. You didn't believe in him. Again, the fan base at Levi's today or on TV probably would have turned the game off and said, whatever, we know what's going to happen. They're going to lose. And like you said, like we've said for months, this is a young team that is snake bitten by injuries. You have to have a good kicker, not because kickers are necessary, but because kickers usually end the season by scoring you your most points. More than your quarterbacks, your tight ends, your receivers, your Christian McCaffreys of the world. Kickers usually define the outcomes of games more than you think. And so good on San Francisco for, I guess, finally realizing the mistake they made a couple years ago, but also finding the right guy through 2 weeks that is actually doing a great job where, to the caller's point, I don't know if you saw the video, Pierre's out there fist pumping like he won. Like this FIFA goal, was out there sliding on it, ripping his jersey off like, I did it. And it's like, chill. That was awesome, but chill, please. But to his credit, Eddie Pinheiro equals Eddie Dinero because he is money, Mark. Money.
He missed his first kick, an extra point, and has been perfect since.
You gotta bring it down like that? Come on, man.
I'm just telling you, he's been perfect since. He's been perfect.
He missed the first one, but
how about this? He was perfect today. Absolutely perfect today in a game in which you win by 1. If you're not perfect today, you lose. And they needed him to be perfect, and he was. Niners win again by a final score of 16-15. While we are talking about special teams, I don't want to forget to bring this up. I do have a major gripe with one special teams play today. And we can talk about that when we come back, Sterling, because I hate stupid mistakes, Sterling. And I think there was a terribly stupid mistake made on special teams today, and it cost the Niners 2 points. It cost them 2 points. So we can touch on that when we come back, plus more time for your calls, 888-957-9570. Derek, I see you. You're coming up next when we return. Although I'm getting a gripe off my chest about special teams, this is a celebration. Niners win. They're undefeated, first in the NFC West. Who do you want to shout out? Who are you most impressed by? Offense, defense? Give us a call. Shoot us a text, 888-957-9570. Plus, we will hear from Kyle Shanahan, who has addressed the media postgame down in Santa Clara. The initial update on Nick Bosa, not an ACL injury, although that is not 100% confirmed. The Niners will have to wait for more tests to officially determine what Nick Bosa's knee injury is. We'll hear from Shanahan coming up in a little bit as well. It's overtime on 95.7 The Game. I'm Mark Grandy. That's Sterling Bennett. We continue next on 95.7 The Game.
Hi, I'm John Ray, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. Getting engaged? So friends in the Bay, listen up. Shane Company engagement rings are protected with our all-inclusive free lifetime warranty. We stand behind the same quality we've offered since 1929. Our rings are crafted to last. It's why our warranty is the only one that protects your center stone. We also cover repairs, resizings, cleanings, and so much more. That's money you keep for you and your family, because a friend always has your back. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
Hey, it's Joe Shasky here for Ceremony Ford, and let me keep it real with you. If you've been thinking about making the switch to an electric ride, now is the time to pull the trigger, because Ceremony Ford in Colma is ending the summer with some heat. So check this out. Slide into a brand new 2025 Mustang Mach-E for just $225 a month on a lease. That's right, $225 a month for 36 months. Or if you're ready to buy, lock in 0% APR financing for 72 months and grab a $2,000 rebate. Who else is giving you that? Only Ford. But here's the kicker. The federal EV tax credits on Mach-E and the F-150 Lightning are about to expire September 30th. You wait, you lose. Don't let Uncle Sam keep your money. Ceremony Ford has one of the biggest inventories in Northern California, and they're ready to hook you up. Find them right off at 280 in Colma or online 24/7 at ceremonyford.com. That's Ceremony Ford, the Bay Area's Mach-E superstore. Tell them Butcher sent you.
Are you interested in being an install or service technician? Good news! R&S Doors and Gates is hiring. If you have good mechanical skills and a knowledge of power tools, welding, and motor controls, you should apply today. R&S Doors has openings to repair and install commercial overhead doors, entry doors, and loading dock equipment. You must be able to work in a professional, fast-paced environment. Call 800-FIX-A-DOOR and apply today. That's 800-FIX-A-DOOR, or visit rsdoors.com. R&S Doors. Look for the red truck.
Coming to Freeman's Appliance in Pleasant Hill, September 26th through the 28th for their fall clearance sales event. Take advantage of factory direct prices, one-of-a-kind opportunities, special pricing on floor models, and convenient financing. Save on new appliances from trusted brands like Miele, Bosch, Electrolux, LG, and Maytag. Visit Freeman's Appliance in Pleasant Hill for their fall clearance sales event September 26th through the 28th for the best time to save on new appliances for your home.
All guests on 95.7 The Game appear on the River Islands guest line.
Warriors head coach Steve Kerr now joining us on the River Islands guest line.
Joining us right now on the River Islands guest line, none other than Steph Curry.
River Islands in Lathrop combines new home neighborhoods with lakes, parks, and trails. All new charter schools, a waterfront restaurant, and all the elements to make the good life your life. Isn't it time for you to discover the islands?
Tulsa is my home now. Academy Award nominee Sylvester Stallone stars in the Paramount Plus original series, Tulsa King.
This distillery is a very interesting business, and we gotta know the enemy.
From Taylor Sheridan, co-creator of Landman.
What are you saying? I'm all right. If you think you're gonna take me on, it's gonna be really difficult.
Tulsa King, new season now streaming exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Now back to overtime. Instant reaction to the game with Mark Grandy and Sterling Bennett. We are the Bay Area's football station. 95.7 The Game.
Hell of a play by Upton Stout. It gave the Niners the ball back with a chance to win the game, and then Mac Jones, Christian McCaffrey, and the offense took advantage, giving the ball to Eddie Pinheiro for a 35-yard walk-off game-winning field goal. Yeah, that play by Upton Stout, you just heard the call on Fox. Adam Amin, great play, fighting through the whistle, through the ground to knock that ball away from Zay Jones, forcing a punt. And then Niners take advantage, and they win this game again 16-15. The final score, Niners 3-0. They're atop the NFC West as, of course, the Cardinals, by virtue of the Niners' win, also lost today. They were 2-0.
Losers.
They're now 2-1. And in Philadelphia, the Rams, who were also 2-0, they were up big in Philly, but they lose late. I think the Eagles scored, 26 unanswered points in that game, I believe, to win that one. So the Rams, it was crazy game. The Rams, they lose. They're now 2-1. Niners 3-0. Plus, they have currently the edge on both the Cardinals and the Seahawks as the winners in the head-to-head matchup so far. So very big there for the 49ers. Welcome back. It's overtime. I'm Mark Grandy. That's Sterling Bennett. We're going to go to the phones in a sec. Derek, you're coming up, and then Nick after that. I do want to get off my chest, though, Sterling, because we've been talking about special teams a little bit. I think maybe the only major mistake the special teams unit made today, it was late in this ball game, right after that Fred Warner pass breakup on third down. The Niners force a punt in the fourth quarter. Arizona punts with about 3.5 left. And back to return the punt is Sky Moore, who the Niners acquired just before the beginning of the regular season with a trade with the Kansas City Chiefs. And Sky Moore, he's hanging out around like the 10-yard line or so, and the punt makes him back up all the way to like the 5. And he's thinking at that point, all right, I'm going to call fair catch. And Sterling, I don't know if you played youth football growing up. I know you love the game. You've been around the game a lot. You know like the intricacies and like all the coach speak things and like what generally you're supposed to do in certain situations. The way I was taught when I was like 12 years old, Sterling, on a punt return, you plant yourself at the 10. If the ball's over your head, let it bounce. And you hope that it goes into the end zone, because likely it will. But if it doesn't, all it's costing you is at most like 5 yards. So it's not worth it. The likelihood of it going into the end zone suggests plant yourself at the 10. If it's over your head, get the hell out of the way and let it bounce, hoping it goes into the end zone for a touchback. Instead, he walks back to the 6, calls for fair catch there, makes the catch. Honestly, I thought he should have been marked like at the 5 or the 4 because he was moving backwards as he caught it. Whatever, they get it at the 6, and then a couple of plays later, Mac Jones gets pressured, and Dominic Pooney commits a holding penalty in the end zone. That's a penalty. It's a safety, 2 points for the Cardinals, and they get the ball back. I'm thinking, oh my God, the game's over, and it wouldn't have mattered, Sterling, if Sky Moore had just let the ball bounce, because it probably would have bounced into the end zone for a touchback.
Is your gripe with Sky Moore? Because
Yes.
my gripe, while yes, I completely understand where you're coming from here, my gripe about this, while not erasing what Sky Moore did, was that why are we not running the football to give, at the point in time,
True. That is also
your
true.
quarterback that has a bum knee and isn't running around right? Like, he can't move well, and you're dropping him back twice on back-to-back plays in the end zone? Hey, if you don't like the Moore thing, right? Let's say Shanahan's like, why is Sky Moore what is he doing? Don't compound the issue. You're the head coach. Try to make it easier for your guy. Maybe get you 2 yards. You had just come off a drive where you ran the football 5 times, including a 19-yard run by Brian Robinson. Didn't you get Brian Robinson to get you short yardage gains? Isn't that why he's there? Give him the football. Maybe get you 2-3 yards. You're at the 9-yard line, the 8-yard line. That's enough room to do a 7-step drop back if you have to and not be in the end zone. So, yes, you are 1,000% validated, but also, hey, Shanahan, let's not drop back the quarterback that has a brace on his knee and can't move in the end zone with an offensive line that hasn't been playing their best football to begin the season.
Yes, that was confusing to me too. What makes it even funnier is after the Niners forced another Cardinals punt, that Upton Stout pass breakup on Zay Jones on third down that forced the punt. Sky Moore did the right thing that time. I would imagine there was a conversation, less of a conversation and more of a one-way screaming match on the sideline between those two punts, because the second time he did it exactly right. He planted himself around the 10. The ball went over his head. He kind of sold that he was making a fair catch to keep the gunners from getting down there and fielding the punt. And then he ran out of the way at the last second, and the ball bounced into the end zone. Niners get the ball at the 20, and then they're on their merry way, and they get a field goal, and they win the game. So good job, Sky Moore, not making the same boneheaded mistake twice. At least it didn't cost the Niners a win, but that's my gripe on special teams for the day. Niners don't go, it doesn't matter who their kicker is, doesn't matter who their special teams coordinator is, Sterling, they still can't go a single game without me having at least one gripe on special teams. It's a tradition at this point.
We do have, I think, one person we can praise, and it's not because the unit as a whole did well. It's because the one player may have saved a Greg Dortch return touchdown. That was Jair Brown. Greg Dortch had a lane, and Jair Brown occupied it, got the stop, and may have saved the big touchdown for the Cardinals. So special teams giveth, and it taketh away. Thankfully, it gaveth a big game-winning field goal today for San Francisco.
And it's the reason why the Niners won 16-15, and they're atop the NFC West right now. Okay, 888-957-9570. Let's keep it going on the phone lines. Up next, as promised, Derek in San Mateo. Derek, appreciate the call. How do you feel about that Niner win?
Oh, bang, bang, Niner gang. That was a great win, fellas. So happy. I got to give my props to all three phases, offense, defense, but especially special teams, and especially game ball goes to Eddie Pinheiro. Definitely. Pinheiro, De Niro. I don't know if it's been said yet, but tell me if you've heard this before. Older Bears kicker comes over to the Niners, becomes automatic, and becomes a legend for years to come. Have we not found Robbie Gould Jr.? Like, this is the guy, and he's got that dog mentality, too. So I love that he's on our team, and I hope that he just becomes automatic, and that's it. And to answer the last caller's question about why he was out just as a free agent, if you heard his old interviews, he said he wanted to go to a winner. So he's probably thinking to himself, I don't want to hang out in Carolina anymore. He had an interview at Atlanta. He's probably happy he didn't take that interview, and he just wants to win. He's a dog. He came here. He knows he wants to win, and he's going to help us flourish forever. So, bang, bang, and great game today. We needed this because once we get everyone back, then we're playing with house money. We need these wins. So, bang, bang, now today. That's all I got, guys.
Yeah, appreciate the call, Derek. And obviously the reference that you're making there is Robbie Gould, who was a longtime Bears kicker, then came over to the Niners and was awesome for so many years. Eddie Pinheiro only played 1 year with the Bears, his first year in the NFL in 2019. Since then, he's bounced around a bit, 5 games with the Jets, and then the last 3 seasons with Carolina. They ultimately move on. A lot of these kickers that are in that bucket, from like the 15th best kicker in the world to like the 50th best kicker in the world or the 40th best kicker in the world, there's not a whole lot of difference there, and Eddie Pinheiro is proven that so far with the 49ers. And through 2 games, he has not missed a field goal. Today, he makes from 38, from 51, and from 35 to win the game. And, of course, he made the extra point as well. So 3 for 3 on field goals and 1 for 1 on extra points. Great game today from Eddie Pinheiro.
It's 10 points for the kicker.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Eddie Pinheiro today had more points than any Niners rushing running back on the season.
On the whole season.
I want to throw up. Let's get a rushing touchdown, please.
That includes Christian McCaffrey. McCaffrey has a touchdown, but it's through the air. That's 6 points. Pinheiro had 10 points today. So, even more points than Christian McCaffrey. He might have more points than anybody. Does anyone have multiple touchdowns today or this season from the 49ers?
Kyle Juszczyk got 1. McCaffrey has 1. Kittle has 1. Jennings has 1.
Yeah.
Tunges has 1. Farrell has 1. No, I don't think so.
You have a bunch of players with 1 touchdown, and then you have Eddie Pinheiro, who in just today outscored them all. So Eddie Pinheiro, new Niners kicker, and he helped win the game today. Back out to the phones, 888-957-9570. Nick in Berkeley is up next. Nick, hell of a win. How you doing?
Man, coming from the game, man. Hey, man, look, it was a masterful drive on the last drive by the Niners, man. Shanahan was in the zone, man. I was so grateful that he had called those little plays, man, those little dink dunks up the middle. The receivers came through huge, man. Bourne was killing it, man, with some clutch receptions, man. But it was like we had to overcome two teams, man, today. Like, for real. Like, it was bad. Like, it was a tight, divisional game. But then the referees, man, were just absurdly ridiculous, like, with some of their calls. And I just don't understand how you can be that bad. But like those
what
guys
calls,
were,
Nick? What calls did you think went wrong?
Well, they showed it on the replay a couple times. There was a face mask on McCaffrey on a run that was clearly right with the judge standing there, and he got twisted around. Like, how do you, if you're running running laterally or kind of diagonally to the line, and then all of a sudden your head gets jerked around and your body's still running straight, it's pretty much face mask. And they showed it on the replay. That was a face mask. The quarterback is for the Cardinals was in the he's in the end zone when he threw that pass, and it's not a challengeable call, but you can get a booth review, and then they burned us on that. I felt like the safety was just like barely touched them. They showed that on the replay, and it was like it's like, man, like, are you guys that bad, or like, what are you guys doing out there? Like, it's just ridiculous, man. But we didn't worry about the rest. The defense once again bailed out the offense and gave one more chance. But Mac Jones, man, playing with that ripped jersey, man, that was classic right there, man. He didn't change it at halftime. He came out there with that ripped jersey looking like a mess, and, man, he made it happen. And what I really appreciated what he did the most was that he threw balls away instead of forcing balls when everybody was covered. He just decided to throw it away and just get to the next play. And, it's like for a guy that has, he's like, I wouldn't say he's a rookie, but I wouldn't say like he's that much of a veteran. But he stayed calm and cool, and he made the throws when he had to, man. And then Eddie P, not Eddie P, but Eddie P, man, came up big, man, with his field goals, man. And the fans were going crazy. It was a great game, man, all the way around. We needed that, and now we're atop the first. And I just wondered, when was the last time that Shanahan started off 3-0?
2023 when they were 5-0.
Yeah, when they were 5-0 that year.
So
2
years ago.
2 years ago, but he has a lot of Niners seasons. And thank you for the call, Nick. A lot of Niners seasons have gotten off to bad starts. Like 3-0 isn't anything to scoff at. And part of the reason that the Niners seasons, I think, even when they've gone deep into the playoffs, part of the reason why some of those seasons, I think back to the year when they lost to the Rams in the NFC Championship game. That year,
21.
That was 2021, right? That year they got off to that incredibly slow start to the point where they had to win games down the stretch just to make the playoffs, including that game in LA versus the Rams. And then you have to win, of course, multiple playoff games on the road, and then just to get to the NFC Championship game. And it felt like that team was just broken physically at that point because you have to sprint, kind of like what happened for the Warriors this past season when you had to sprint just to make the playoffs. By the time you get to the playoffs, you're kind of running on empty. So getting off to a good start is absolutely key for this team, especially a team that has as many key veteran guys as they do. So it has happened somewhat recently, Nick, but I think the point is, and you're spot on, is that it is incredibly important to do that, to give yourself some breathing room early in the year, not so you cruise into the playoffs, but so that you don't have to put your life on the line in Week 17 and Week 18 just to make the playoff, because maybe the Niners could clinch something before then. I did want to also react to something that Nick said. He talked about some of the calls that he thought were against the Niners for the Cardinals. The one that I remember him talking about that I remember distinctly, it was the non-safety call against Kyler Murray. If you're at the game, you probably didn't hear the Fox crew read the rule off, but essentially the rule is for a grounding penalty to be a safety, the entire body of the quarterback or whoever is throwing the football and the ball has to be in the end zone. The entire body and the ball has to be fully in the end zone. The majority of Kyler Murray's body was in the end zone, but his hand and the ball was out of the end zone. So by the letter of the law, Sterling, that was the right call. Intentional grounding, but down at the 1, not in the end zone, so no safety.
Yeah, that was the one I think most fans were upset about. Obviously, when you are in the heat of the game, you're sitting back. Oh, it's 15-13. That safety comes in handy.
Yep, absolutely.
But yes, the Fox broadcast crew. That's a hard word to say. They got it right. They clarified that yes, Kyler's hand and the ball were out of the end zone, which. Obviously, you see C.J. West barreling down, getting the initial pressure. Here comes Mike Kell and Alfred Collins, and I'm sure as a fan base, you're like, this is our guys. These are our 3 young defensive linemen out there making plays. Reward them if you can, NFL gods, and they couldn't do that. But it was a great play nonetheless. However, I will say this: I don't really think that Dominic Pooney held Calais Campbell that much. He kind of like hip grabbed him, which. I guess technically that's holding, but I was looking for a shoulder grab, like a legitimate, like, oh, he, drug him to the ground, and it was more of like a guiding hand along his hip, like a cornerback would do to a wide receiver. But that was the one play I was like, okay, I guess, don't love that, but let's avoid putting ourselves in those positions in the first place. Sky Moore and Kyle Shanahan, it doesn't happen.
Absolutely. I also think if you want to be impressed by this Niner win, just listen to this stat and keep in mind how, I don't know, like kind of one-sided or predictable the Niner offense is right now, Sterling. Niners scored 16 points today. That's not a lot. There were teams that scored, the Vikings scored 48 points today. The Seahawks scored 44 points today. The Colts, who are also 3-0, and the Commanders scored 41 points today. There were a ton of points scored today. The Niners scored 16. Mac Jones threw the ball 41 times. Of his 41 attempts, 26 were targeting Ricky Pearsall or Christian McCaffrey. That's the Niner offense. 26 of the 41 were to Pearsall or McCaffrey, and that percentage was a whole lot higher until the last drive, because on the last drive, there were multiple targets for Kendrick Bourne. There was one to Jake Tonjes, and there was one to Sky Moore. Those were all on the last drive. So even before then, the percentage of the targets that were going to Pearsall and McCaffrey were a lot higher. But just looking at the game as a whole, Mac Jones throws 41 times, 26, by far more than half go to McCaffrey or Pearsall. Right now, Sterling, the Niners offense is, we're going to try to run the ball. It's not working. We're going to throw the ball at the line of scrimmage to McCaffrey, or we're going to throw the ball down the field to Pearsall. That's it. That's their offense. And they're 3-0. Demarcus Robinson is back next week. Maybe Juwan Jennings is back next week. Kittle's going to miss at least 2 more games, but he's on the way back. Of course, you have Brandon Ayuk probably further down the road than that. The offense is only going to get healthier from this point forward, and of course you're expecting Brock Purdy back maybe next week or maybe in week number 5. We will see there. But this is an offense that is Pearsall and McCaffrey through the air, and that's about it right now, and the Niners are 3-0. That is incredibly impressive. You know how difficult it is to win football games when you're that predictable on offense? And obviously a big part of this is what the defense is doing, and we've given them so much credit already, and they deserve even more credit than that. But this offense is pretty one-dimensional right now, and they're 3-0.
Well, take it a step further, and you look at the team totals of the day. The Cardinals had more rushing yards than San Francisco by nearly or above 30. San Francisco lost the turnover differential. Jones threw a pick. The Cardinals didn't turn the ball over at all. And really, for the most part, like the Cardinals held the football for 9 more minutes than San Francisco did.
Wow.
And their first 3 drives of the game were double-digit play totals. And it just shows you how great San Francisco's defense has been and how much Shanahan can trust that unit to pull things out. But more importantly, can we talk about how great Ricky Pearsall has looked?
He's been awesome.
3 weeks.
Man.
Ricky Pearsall has been just tremendous. Of all the talk of missing weapons, he continues to step up, make big plays. He is a quarterback's best friend. That usually is a tight end. No. It's Pearsall. He's always open, always on third downs. He's always finding soft zones.
On fourth downs.
He really is, right now, this team's second best first-round wide receiver pick of the regime. Now, there's only been 2. It's him and Ayuk. But right now, he is looking like the next really solid, really good offensive weapon for this offense, which, you talk about longevity. Like, if he's here for the next 4, 5, 6 years, there's a real connection there, and you get excited about what the offense could look like when they get healthier. And you have Pearsall still growing into his second season with the team.
No, great point. Yeah, and let's just circle the big play. 4th and 2 from the Arizona 40 with 12 minutes left in the game, a 6-6 tie. You're kind of in that no man's land where you're not quite in field goal range, but you're across the 50. You don't want to punt, and you only have 2 yards to go. So I am completely in agreement with Kyle Shanahan that going forward is the right decision. Then the question becomes, all right, what are you calling? Because you haven't had any success in the run game. What are you going to do to gain 2 yards? My mind immediately goes to, well, instead of handing it off to McCaffrey, throw it to McCaffrey. Like, just let him get those 2 yards. And that was, I'm sure, on the play sheet. That was an option. And even on the play that was called, it was probably an option. But what does Mac Jones do? On 4th and 2 from the Arizona 40 in a tie game, 12 minutes left. To this point, the most important play of the game. He takes a deep shot down the right sideline to a second-year rookie who he's hardly thrown to until the last 2 weeks in Ricky Pearsall, and he makes an over-the-shoulder catch all the way down to the 6-yard line for 34 yards. One, talk about a gutsy decision to make that throw by Mac Jones, because that was not one of the situations where Pearsall was like wide open. Most of his catches, you're right, are over the middle. He finds ways to sneak between the zone, and he finds those openings, and when he catches, he's got like a 5-yard pillow on any defender. He's open, and it's an easy pitch and catch, and he gains 20 yards. This was not one of those. He was covered pretty well by Clark. Jones, a good throw, and then Ricky, one hell of a catch, and it even looked like he got up feeling not 100%. Maybe got the wind knocked out of him, I don't know, but he was feeling something after that play. He stayed in, he was fine, but 34 yards down to the 6 on 4th and 2 goes without saying, the biggest catch of his career, and he is quickly becoming, whether it was Brock Purdy in week 1 or Mac in weeks 2 and 3, Sterling, whoever the quarterback is, he's becoming one of the preferred targets. Not a whole lot else to choose from in a day like today, obviously, but he has answered the call in the first 3 games, and we had a caller who wanted to predict that he's going to break 1,000 yards. I mean, easy. Like, it's not even going to be close as long as he stays healthy. He's easily going to get to 1,000, Sterling.
And the best thing about Pearsall's growth in his second season is that whenever you lose your starting quarterback, the quarterback who you have built repetitions with, the chemistry with, and you lose him early in the year, you start to question, is that going to kind of, pivot to the backup quarterback? Is it going to carry over to Mac Jones? And it has, like, to a point where I can think Pearsall is a wide receiver, which not everybody's like this. Some guys can't do this. Like, you saw Nick Mullins, it was him and George Kittle, and that's basically it. Jimmy Garoppolo had Deebo Samuel. He wasn't really a Brandon Ayuk guy. Like, it was a one-for-one kind of game, and Kittle was involved in there too. And Purdy has found ways to get Kittle open, Ayuk open, Deebo in his time here, and Pearsall late last year. But this season so far with Pearsall specifically, you've seen him be able to transition his success from Purdy to the backup quarterback. And to me, that shows you that he is one of the more versatile weapons and one of the more trustworthy guys, not just on this team, because that's already true, but amongst wide receivers, guys in the league. Not all receivers can do this. You see Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Jake Browning look like I don't know, deer in the headlights. He couldn't throw anybody open this week. Whereas Pearsall's always finding lanes, soft zones, whether it's Purdy or the backup in Mac Jones, and he's having a heck of a year in his last 5 games. 30 receptions, 491 yards.
Wow.
That includes 3 100-yard games and 2 touchdowns. Ricky Pearsall, Slick Rick, is legit.
He is. And just this year, 108 receiving yards week 1, 56 week 2, 117 today in week 3. That's 281 on the year. He's averaging just under 94 receiving yards per game. That would mean at that pace, Sterling, he would only have to play in 11 games to break 1,000 yards. 93, 94 yards per game in 11 games is 1,030-ish yards per game. So if he were to play, let's just say he plays 15 of 17 possible games this year. At that pace, we're talking about a 1,400-yard receiver. At that pace. Now, Ayuk comes back, Kittle comes back, he's probably not going to keep on that pace. But we're talking about a guy that is on pace comfortably to eclipse 1,000 yards. So that is how good Ricky Pearsall has been so far this year. Okay, time for a break. More time for your calls at 888-957-9570. But when we come back, Kyle Shanahan, his full post-game press conference with the media in Santa Clara. What did he say about Nick Bosa's knee? Also, what did he say about Mac Jones, who clearly was not comfortable in the fourth quarter of this game? That and a whole lot more from Kyle Shanahan when we return. It's overtime. Mark Randy, Sterling Bennett with you. More next after this on 95.7 The Game.
Do you often worry you left the garage door open? With a LiftMaster garage door opener powered by MyQ, you'll never worry again. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage from your smartphone anytime, from anywhere through the MyQ app. As an authorized LiftMaster dealer, Ace's Garage Door Repair and Installation has smart openers designed for your needs, including belt drive motors for ultra-quiet operation, integrated camera for live video, streaming, and battery backup to let you in when the power is out. Trust Ace's Garage Door Repair and Installation for top-notch service and unbeatable reliability. Whether you need a quick fix, a complete replacement, or a brand new installation for your garage door or garage door opener, our skilled technicians are here to get the job done right. With competitive prices, a commitment to quality, and diamond certification, Aces has you covered. Call today at 855-588-2237 or visit acegd.com. That's acegd.com. Aces Garage Door Repair and Installation, where your garage door is our priority.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
A strong heart, a steady stride, a life full of milestones. El Camino Health is here for you. From advanced heart and vascular care that keeps you on beat, to expert orthopedic treatments that keep you moving, and innovative cancer care that fights alongside you. With expert care for women, men, and new moms, supporting you through every chapter of your health, because every life we touch is built on trust and compassion. El Camino Health, our strength, your health.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part? They accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right, so we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2025 Nielsen report.
Join Lorenzo Neal and Evan Giddings at Laughing Monk Brewing in Sunnyvale every red and gold home game this season for our special live pregame broadcast. Plus, we'll have tailgate games, prizes, great food, and drink specials. For more information, visit 957thegame.com.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line.
But my throat has officially thrown in the towel. Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
Comcast Business High Five Hotline. What's the state of your excitement?
I signed my business up for the 5-year price lock guarantee, and I can't stop high-fiving people. High five!
Okay, deep breath. You're in a good place. You signed your business up for 5 years of gig speed internet and advanced security, all on our ultra-reliable network.
Gig speeds and advanced security? I'm so stoked.
Yep, and you get it at a great rate that's locked in for 5 years. Woo! The high five is just your body's way of saying, I'm winning.
So this is natural.
High-fiving everyone you see in a state of business savings enthusiasm, totally natural.
Sweet! Thank you! Thank you! High five, everybody! High five!
The Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee is back, but only for a limited time, so sign your business up today.
High five!
Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 9/21/25 for new customers with qualifying bundle. Current customers may be eligible depending on services and area. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM in HD1 San Francisco on Odyssey Sports Station. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube. Powered by First NorCal Credit Union.
Blitz coming. Murray, batted down by Warner. Captain of the defense comes up with the big play on 3rd down for San Francisco.
Now back to overtime. Instant reaction to the game with Mark Grandy and Sterling Bennett. We are the Bay Area's football station. 95.7 The Game.
Welcome back. Overtime continues here on 95.7 The Game. Mark Grandy and Sterling Bennett with you. Yeah, that highlight you just heard, Adam Amin on Fox. Fred Warner leaping up at the line of scrimmage to knock a Kyler Murray pass down, forcing a punt. Niners defense came up with a lot of stops down the stretch to allow the Niners offense a chance to win the game, and they do it with an Eddie Pinheiro walk-off 35-yard field goal to give the Niners a 16-15 win over the Cardinals in a big division game. These two teams came in to today's game tied atop the NFC West along with the Rams at 2-0. Rams lose in Philadelphia. Niners beat the Cardinals. Niners now 3-0. Every other team in the NFC West is 2-1, and 2 of those 3 losses by the 4 combined teams in the division, Sterling, have been in division losses. So someone has to lose those games. So the Niners division, the NFC West, only has 1 loss outside of the division. We'll see how it stacks up throughout the entire season, Sterling, but early on, the NFC West is at worst proving to be one of the best divisions in football.
And another reason why winning this game is of the utmost importance is because the Cardinals are banged up now, right? The defense, secondary's banged up. They lose James Conner, and they are now demoralized, right? They lose against San Francisco in a heartbreaking fashion. They play the Seahawks this Thursday. So the Cardinals can either lose a second big game, they're going to be 0-2 in the NFC West, which I know you and I don't expect the Cardinals to be amongst the top of the finishers in the division, but you never know. Things can change. Matthew Stafford could go down. It's the Jimmy G show in LA, and the NFC West gets crazy, and we're all sitting here like, hey, it's anybody's game. Or the Cardinals could say, we lost a heartbreaker. We want some revenge, and they go out and they spoil a game with the Seahawks. So this is a big game for San Francisco in more ways than one. Obviously, winning is of the utmost importance for the Niners themselves. 3-0 and now undefeated on the season in the division, and you are set yourself up for what we have called kind of the first 5 games to be the biggest kind of spot for San Francisco to have a quick hot start, right? Where if you can go 3-2, you can go 4-1, and the only game you lose in that stretch is against the Rams, you're in a pretty good spot. And right now, they are very close to securing that to begin the year. So a lot more reasons to celebrate for San Francisco than just getting a win on the Sunday.
Yep. 16-15 the final. Niners now 3-0 here in 2025. Okay, let's hear from Kyle Shanahan, who addressed the media postgame. Obviously a win. That means a happy Kyle Shanahan. There are some injury concerns, though, including Nick Bosa, who left the game in the first half with what appeared to be a knee injury. He gave a thumbs down to either maybe some Niner personnel up in the stands somewhere, maybe in the press box, or maybe it was to his parents, his mom and dad in attendance. Regardless, he clearly did not think the injury was something super minor based on his reaction. We'll hear what Kyle Shanahan said about that. Plus, also remember Mac Jones. He suffered a minor PCL injury in the preseason. He has said to reporters, and we'll hear that a little bit later on, that he thinks he's re-aggravated that same PCL injury to his knee. I know Kyle Shanahan briefly addressed Mac Jones's injury as well. So we'll hear all of that, plus a whole lot more from Kyle Shanahan. Here it is, the coach of the Niners post-game talking about the Niners' 16-15 win over the Arizona Cardinals.
All right, guys. Injuries from the game. Nick Bosa had a knee, didn't return. Mikael Williams' wrist, he did return. Renardo Green had a head evaluation, he returned. Mac Jones had a knee, he returned. CJ West had a thumb, didn't return.
Rule anything out with Nick's injury?
No, we can't rule anything out. I mean, they checked for ACL and stuff there. It was good with that, but we're still not sure, so we got to check with more thorough things here tonight and tomorrow.
After losing Bosa, just out of curiosity, how do you think this game would have gone if Mikael Williams wasn't there on the other side of the defensive front, making plays down the stretch?
It's a big hypothetical. It would have been harder without him. Anytime you don't have your players, it just gets harder and harder. He made some big plays in that game, and I thought our whole defense did. I thought the fortitude, the resilience they had throughout the whole game, our whole team, I thought was really impressive.
At what point did Mac hurt his knee, and how do you think he
played? On the drive, he hurt it in the red zone when the one we went for it on 4th and goal from the 2 and didn't get it. Did you have a follow-up question?
given that?
I thought he did some really good things. I know there's a couple that he'd love to have back. I thought his pick was just a bad play. Love for Ricky to be able to break that up, but I thought it was a bad call. The way he came back on the end on that last drive, he was unbelievable. Even scrambling around when his knee was bothering him. But he was real good today.
What was your view of Upton Stout's play, the breakup there?
It was unbelievable. I mean, they had him beat on the play. I mean, he had some separation. That's how kind of Upton's been with everything. Just never quits, never stopped, ate up the cushion. I didn't get to see, but it looked like he raked out the ball when the guy was bringing it down in transition. Huge game. Wouldn't have been able to win it without that play.
You have a goal line yardage in mind to set up for Pinero, and what was the confidence level in him on that last kick?
I was confident. I mean, we don't have a lot of life experiences together, so I don't, but yeah, so I was feeling good with it, and he definitely kept that going. We were going to kick along. We were in field goal range earlier before that. I love the screen that Christian did. The guys blocked great for him, got it in there, made it easier, and then we centered it, and he had the game winner.
A lot of new faces obviously coming into the season, been a lot of shuffling with injuries. What is it about the fabric of this team? What does it say about it that you guys have been able to eke out these three kind of grimy wins?
I've just been so proud of the guys in all three games. All three of those games were games that could have gone either way. We've had to overcome a lot in those games going into them with some injuries and some people we've lost during the games in all three. I think those were some of the games that I think we struggled to win last year, and to have three like that and to win all three, can't say enough about the guys in there.
Do you remember the play call on 4th and 2 on the 34-yarder to Pearsall? What'd you think of it?
Yeah, trips right, 3-jet Florida. Thought it was awesome. Mac had an option to hit KB on the out route or to throw Ricky on the go. He had a good look for both of them, and he chose the right one. It was a big-time play.
You even hesitated to go for it there. Did you have that play ready to go? Had that been set up?
It wasn't really the play ready to go, but I knew based off what we did the down before that we were going to give him 2 tries, and I was hoping we could run it. We had a chance to, came up just short, and then those guys were big time on that.
That doesn't seem like an easy throw. Max on the opposite hash, throwing across the field. Is that a throw that he's good at? I mean, are you confident in him making that throw?
I mean, in the NFL, go routes to the field, you don't worry about it. They better have a strong enough arm to throw to the field. But Mac's been good at throwing goes all the time. Whether he hits them in stride or whether he hits them with the back shoulder, that's really based off of the separation that Ricky gets on it. I thought Ricky got the separation, and Mac dropped it in there. They were telling me it was dicey towards the sideline, so that's why we hurried up and ran a play. I never got to see the replay or anything, but it was a big-time throw, big-time catch.
There was so much concern about Christian going into the season and him standing up to, getting hit all the time, and he got hit a ton today, and he wound up still making that big screen play at the end. How tough was he today to get through this game, and how
tough as he always is? Christian is never not like that. He battled, did a lot of good things in the run game and the pass game, but that's how Christian is to me every day of his life. So very grateful to have him.
Christian and Ricky had like 26 targets, something like that. On the last drive, though, Mac got to spread around Sky Moore, Tonjes, all those guys. Was there any conscious effort on your part to say, hey, like maybe they're sitting on some things, let's try to get other guys involved, or was that just kind of how?
I think it's more just no huddle, 2 minute. You have plays, and you design most of your stuff for your guys, and then coverage will cover them, and then you go to the next guy. That's why Christian sometimes gets a lot more targets, because he gets them when you end with a check down also. Not to mention we target him as number one a bunch. But when you get in a 2 minute situation, you're just going, no huddle plays and stuff, it really doesn't matter. So the ball went there, and those guys stepped up big and made some big time plays on that drive.
On that drive in particular.
Kendrick was awesome. Kendrick seemed pretty good every time we went to him. Thought there was one low one I would have loved him to catch on 1 3rd down, I believe. But KB just in these 2 weeks, every time we've gone to him, he's made some big plays. Love how he steps back to the ball, and love how he finishes after. And it was awesome with Sky too, showing up there.
Think about Ricky and how he's played, especially this game. Can you just expand on what you thought from watching him? It seemed like he kept a lot of drives alive late, and then you didn't have Juwan Jennings, which everybody calls third and Juwan. What was it like to have Ricky Pearsall out there today?
This is how Ricky's been for a while. We felt it towards the end of last year. He's been this way all through training camp, and it's one of the reasons we wanted to draft him here, and hasn't disappointed us at all. So he stepped it up big, and you got to do that even more when you have guys out like JJ and guys like George.
From the guys in the team after this game, what did you have to say to them?
Just how proud of them I was with just, I said it to them using big words for myself, but fortitude, resilience, the character. People had to help me with those. But I was just, to me, you felt it throughout the whole game. You could tell it wasn't going exactly how we would like, the time of possession, stuff like that. Really struggling on 3rd down. I think we had our 7th play on offense, I want to say, was 7 minutes into the second quarter. So they were controlling the ball, and we weren't moving the ball on 3rd down, so it made it real tough, but the guys never wavered. For the D to stop them at the end, and then us to get a safety, and then the Stout to come back and make the play to give the offense another chance. It was a hell of a job by everybody.
What did you see from the D-line
after the game? We know his parents went to the locker room to check on him. What were his spirits kind of
I
like?
haven't seen Nick yet. I'm sure he's concerned, and just knowing how he would be, and hopefully we'll have some good news tomorrow.
To clarify, they've rolled out an ACL for him?
They haven't ruled it out. No, we're not sure. There is concern because of how he feels, and they do the tests and stuff on the sideline. Usually they say whether he definitely did or not, and they didn't say that. But we are concerned with that, and keeping our fingers crossed for the MRI or whatever he does.
A 3-0 start, but 2-0 in the division, and 2 close wins in the division. What does that say so far about your season?
Well, it's big. They all count. But you like to say towards the end, the division games count a little bit more. So these are 3 wins that could have gone either way, especially having 2 on the road, and especially 2 in our own division. So really good start for us, and we just got to make sure to keep it up.
Do you think he bounced back on both sides of the ball after not getting the 4th and 1 at the goal line? And would you like that call back, or did you like the call he didn't execute?
No, I'd like it back. Anytime it doesn't work, I'd like it back. I wanted to go a different direction. That's why I hesitated a little bit, almost called a timeout. I actually wanted to call the play that we scored on the next time down there, on the bootleg to Juice. But I was worried about it. I was watching Mac limp a little and stuff, so we didn't want to do a rollout with them. Felt good when it snapped, but they ended up doing a blitz, and they had our hot throw covered, so it just didn't work out. So, yeah, I was disappointed with it. Defense held them pretty good, and we got it back. But actually, they held them to what I thought was a safety, so then I felt really good about it. But the ball was out of the end zone, so it wasn't a safety. And then I thought we were going to go on to score, and that was our next drive was a pick. So a lot happened right there, and just glad we were able to finish with the ball last.
And that Pinero's a pretty confident guy. I know you don't talk to kickers that much, but have you gotten that sense from him that he's kind of an extra confident kicker?
It seems like it. Carries himself that way. He was cool breaking down the team there at the end. But we've enjoyed him here in these 2 weeks, and we've liked how he's handled himself, and you definitely like guys even more when they make kicks.
What did you see in the safety they called against your offense?
It looked like that. It looked like Dom got beat. We were trying to get rid of it quick and hit Ricky right there hooking up. It felt like the backer was driving on him, and I don't know if Matt could have hit him or not, but he had a shuffle because of the quick win. I think it was Calais. It was shocker. I was hoping we didn't hold him. I mean, I saw on the scoreboard it looked like he didn't totally grab him, but you know, it's tough part about being backed up like that.
You want Steiny to not fair catch that one?
What's that? From where I was looking at it looks like that. I mean, when you have a fair catch of the 6, that's usually not where we want it. So I couldn't tell where that last one landed at the end, but it looked like the right thing. I thought he was in the same situation and let it go, and it was much easier having a touchback there.
What did you see from the D-line after Bosa went down?
I just saw him step it up. I mean, as I saw a number of guys make plays, I thought they contained Kyler pretty good, which is a huge challenge. I mean, the whole goal is to keep him in that pocket, and it is extremely hard with how fast he is and how quick he is. And I thought we played the run game very well. They didn't give any big ones, and I was real proud of the whole defense, but especially the D-line.
What can losing a guy like Bosa mid-game do to the mental unit, and how did you see them just respond?
I mean, it didn't seem like they wavered. I mean, anytime you lose your best player, I mean, guys are disappointed and stuff, but you can't sit there and feel sorry for yourself. I mean, it's tough enough to play in this league, and you got to be ready. And I didn't sense anything from the guys at all. You didn't hear anyone talking, and guys had to step it up, and it looks like the guys did.
All right, that's Kyle Shanahan post-game down in Santa Clara as the 49ers knock off the Cardinals 16-15. Just cleaning up a couple of things that he talked about there, specifically on the injury front. So he talked about the Bosa knee injury a couple of times. Bosa, messed up that knee. Didn't see like a clean replay where you can clearly see where it happened, but it just seemed that he was trying to get around the edge and must have felt something in that knee. Walks off, limps off to the sideline, ultimately does not return to the game. He at one point was looking up at somebody out maybe in the stands or in the press box and gave them the thumbs down. It's clear that Bosa felt like it's, somewhat of a serious injury. Kyle Shanahan did say initially that the immediate ACL testing if it's an ACL injury, likely a tear, is what they're testing for. That came back positively, not positively for an ACL tear, but they got good news on the initial tests. But that does not mean that it is officially not an ACL tear, because he was then asked a follow-up about those tests that they gave Nick Bosa, and he said, Kyle Shanahan said, no, we can't rule out the ACL. And it seems to me, Sterling, based on the way Kyle Shanahan answered that question, essentially saying the way Nick Bosa felt like it probably was an ACL tear. Initial testing suggests otherwise, but they're not going to know for sure until they get further testing done. Maybe we'll find out tonight, tomorrow morning, whenever it is. We'll let you know here on 95.7 The Game. But it does seem like Nick Bosa felt that it was a pretty serious injury. Initially, the results say probably not an ACL tear. We don't yet know just yet. That's going to be, of course, the biggest question of early this coming week as we get ready for week 4, Sterling, because if Nick Bosa is to miss any time, let alone a whole season, like that is a big potential loss for the 49ers.
Now, I'm no doctor, so take what I say with a grain of salt here, but you would like to think that if it was an ACL injury, whether it's a tear, a sprain, whatever it may be of the ACL, that Nick, wanting to take the most precaution as he can, probably wouldn't have walked to the blue tent and or off the field. You would think that there would be a cart being brought out for him, or at least some help, and then he was walking on the knee without crutches. He didn't have crutches at all in post-game, so that to me at least lets me believe that the injury is not an ACL, or at least it isn't a tear of any sort in his knee, which if Bosa misses 2 to 3 weeks with an aggravation or a hyperextension, which Michael had that in training camp, CJ West had that in the preseason, I don't know if there's never a good time to lose your star players, but you like to think with the offense getting healthy, like now may be the right time if he's going to miss some time at all. that you don't have Nick Bosa simply because you're playing the Jaguars, who, quite frankly, they won today. The days aren't very good. They're a really bad team. And you have the Rams. Obviously, you want Nick out there, but you're getting healthy on offense. Maybe those guys can kind of pick up the pieces in his absence, but hopefully no absence whatsoever. If Nick Bosa is, let's say it is the worst comes to worst, and it's the worst possible injury you can think of, this team's trajectory 1,000% goes down a little bit.
Yes.
Whether it's from playoff team to a wild card team to maybe not even in contention, no Nick Bosa means not a lot of success for your defense, unless you trust guys like Michael a lot. But you lose Nick, this team is not going to fare as well in the NFC.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's the two things that Kyle Shanahan said about Nick Bosa. Number one, hey, Kyle, can you rule anything out with Nick Bosa's knee injury?
Nick's injury.
No, we can't rule anything out. I mean, they checked for ACL and stuff there. It was good with that, but we're still not sure, so we got to check with more thorough things here tonight and tomorrow.
And then after, 6 or 7 minutes, there was a follow-up. Wait, so can you re-say that for me? Can you rule out an ACL injury, Kyle?
I'm sure he's concerned, and just knowing how he would be, and hopefully we'll have some good news tomorrow.
To clarify, they've ruled out an ACL for him?
They haven't ruled it out. No, we're not sure. I mean, there is concern because of how he feels, and they do the tests and stuff on the sideline. When usually they say whether he definitely did or not, and they didn't say that, but we are concerned with that, and keeping our fingers crossed for the MRI or whatever he does.
That to me sounds like Nick Bosa thought he tore his ACL, went back, told everyone he thought he tore his ACL. Initial testing suggests otherwise, and the Niners now are just holding their breath, hoping that Nick Bosa was wrong and the initial testing is right. The other one is the injury to Mac Jones. Kyle Shanahan didn't really say much about it other than it happened on the drive, late in that drive where they went for it on 4th and goal, and they didn't get it. He injured himself on that drive. And Mac Jones was asked about it post-game at the podium. Here's what he said about his injury.
I had a little injury that I just re-aggravated, and I'm good. I took the brace off because I wasn't moving around very well, and then put it back on after that. But yeah, I felt like it affected my play a little bit, which I was disappointed about. Like I could have just been tougher, and it was affecting my reads and everything. So anyways, finished the game out and just going to do treatment, and I should be good.
Okay, so that's Mac Jones talking about the PCL sprain during the preseason. Re-aggravated it a little bit, took the brace off, then it got injured again, put it back on, and just kind of toughed through it. But he says that he'll be good. The Niners' hope, Sterling, is that he does not have to play anymore the rest of the season because Brock Purdy, considering that he had a chance to play in some fashion this week, are likely counting on Brock Purdy being back next week. We will see exactly how they play that. But regardless of if Mac Jones is ready or not, the Niners hope that he doesn't have to play another snap again the rest of the year, Sterling.
Didn't he wear the brace against New Orleans last weekend?
Pretty sure he did. I remember that.
And then he didn't wear it to start the game today, and then got hurt and put it back on.
I think he said he was wearing it to begin the game, but took it off because he wasn't moving around well enough, and then it got hurt, and then he put it back on, I think.
Because I know he had the brace on under his pants and socks against New Orleans, and I don't know if he added it on today. Maybe he did, and I'm just, my eyes don't work very well, which is possible. But just keep it on, man, forever. Just pull a Jimmy G and always wear the brace now. Yeah. It's probably going to help you. I did find it funny that Shanahan said, I haven't talked to Nick Bosa yet, which might want to do that. Might be a good idea to talk to your star player.
Yeah.
Said the exact same thing about Christian McCaffrey when he had the calf scare. I haven't talked to CMC yet. How do you know what's going on with the player? Obviously, the doctors tell you, but it's like, man, communication's key. You are a head coach and a play caller. Hey, to his credit, very, very busy guy. But also him saying that on the 4th down, they didn't get where Mac Wilson just annihilates McCaffrey on the incomplete pass. Him saying he wanted to call the Kyle Juszczyk PA bootleg to him, which scored a touchdown later in the game. But you call 2 dropbacks against your own goal line with a hobbled up Mac Jones because he can't move. I love Kyle Shanahan. Sometimes the logic, if you break it down drive per drive, just really doesn't make sense.
Okay.
Which, they got the win, whatever, but come on, Shanahan, there's something there.
We got to talk about this because there were a couple of just absolutely boneheaded decisions by Kyle Shanahan that I cannot make any sense of. It's a win. We're not going to spend the majority of this show talking about that. Niners win 16-15, and there's so much to be happy and excited about. This is an inspiring team, as Kyle Shanahan said. He said, quote, their fortitude, their resilience, their character, those have all been on display through 3 weeks, and those are all 100% true. There are some weird things, weird just individual decisions being made. We can talk about that when we come back. We got one more segment left with you here on Overtime on 95.7 The Game. If you want to get a call in and weigh in before we get on out of here for the night, do so now, 888-957-9570. We'll also hand out our game ball before we get on out of here coming up in 30 minutes. That's Sterling Bennett. I'm Mark Randy, back with more on Overtime after this on 95.7 The Game.
Coach, the energy out there felt different. What changed for the team today?
It was the new game day scratchers from the California Lottery. Players, everything. Those games sent the team's energy through the roof.
Are you saying it was the off-field play that made the difference on the field?
Hey, a little play makes your day, and today, it made the game. That's all for now.
Coach, one more question.
Play the new Los Angeles Chargers, San Francisco 49ers, and Los Angeles Rams Scratchers from the California Lottery. A little play can make your day. Please play responsibly. Must be 18 years or older to purchase, play, or claim.
Fall is the season for reinvention, and it's easy to do at Macy's Fall Favorite Sale. Come in and find your new favorite styles, like romantic ruffled dresses, chic trenches, cashmere sweaters, and textural fall layers, which are perfect for mixing and matching, all for 20 to 50% off. So if you're looking for your new favorite things, look no further than the Fall Favorite Sale. Today, only at Macy's. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
A strong heart, a steady stride, a life full of milestones. El Camino Health is here for you. From advanced heart and vascular care that keeps you on beat, to expert orthopedic treatments that keep you moving, and innovative cancer care that fights alongside you, with expert care for women, men, and new moms, supporting you through every chapter of your health, because every life we touch is built on trust and compassion. El Camino Health, our strength, your health.
At Star One, we make saving simple because everything we do is in your best interest. That's why we provide super simple products with the best rates possible, like our savings account, which we have increased to pay an outstanding return at 3.51% annual percentage yield. That's way above the market average. Apply today at starone.org. Star One Credit Union, in your best interest. Federally insured by NCUA. Rate current as of September 1st, 2025, and is subject to change. $50 minimum deposit to open account and earn APY.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Hi, this is Brian Bakhtiari, Executive Manager of Stevens Creek Subaru. The fall season is upon us. That means football, baseball playoffs, and kids back in school. At Stevens Creek Subaru, this is one of our favorite times of the year. Fall is also when we get our first rains of the year. And that means dangerous road conditions. That is, unless you drive a Subaru with symmetrical all-wheel drive. Subarus are built for any road condition or terrain, whether it's a drive to the coast or up to the snow. The safest pick is a Subaru.
This month, lease a new 25 Crosstrek for just $239 per month. Just $239 a month for a new Crosstrek from Stevens Creek Subaru in San Jose. 36-month lease, no security deposit needed. $24.95 due at signing, plus tax, license, and registration fees. Includes $85 dealer documentation fee and first month's payment. Acquisition fee $650. 15 cents per mile over 10,000 miles per year with Tier 1 approved credit. $300 disposition fee. One at this payment. VIN number JF2GU ABC 8SH271247. Stock number 1250885. Offer expires end of month. See Stevens Creek Subaru for details.
On Stevens Creek Boulevard or online at StevensCreekSubaru.com. Buckle up and drive safely.
Game day just got an upgrade. Whether you're gearing up or winding down, Westfield Valley Fair is your go-to spot. Hit the latest gear at Shoe Palace. Grab bold bites at Shake Shack and Eataly. And catch the action on big screens at King's Fish House. From premium shopping to epic eats and entertainment, make every football Sunday legendary. Westfield Valley Fair. where football fans fuel up in style. Join Lorenzo Neal and Evan Giddings at Laughing Monk Brewing in Sunnyvale every red and gold home game this season for our special live pregame broadcast. Plus, we'll have tailgate games, prizes, great food, and drink specials. For more information, visit 957thegame.com.
The 34-yard catch by Pearsall to set up second down and goal. It's McCaffrey off the fake. Jones floats it. Hughes check. Touchdown. First of the day. And the Niners lead.
Now back to overtime. Instant reaction to the game with Mark Grandy and Sterling Bennett. We are the Bay Area's football station. 95.7 The Game.
Yes, we are, and that was Mac Jones to Kyle Juszczyk gave the Niners a lead early in the fourth quarter. 13-6 was the score at that point. I was thinking, well, that was the first touchdown of the game. It might be the only touchdown of the game. It might be the last score of the game, the way the game was going. Then the Cardinals go 4 plays, 65 yards in 2 minutes and 13 seconds to tie the game up. Then after some punts, the Niners they don't get sacked in the end zone, but they commit a penalty in the end zone for a safety. Cardinals get 2 points and the ball. Niners force a punt, get the ball back, and Eddie Pinheiro a 35-yard walk-off field goal to win the game 16-15 and push the Niners to 3-0 here in 2025. I want to talk about that play call that Kyle Shanahan made on that Kyle Juszczyk touchdown catch in just a sec. But before we do that, I did want to update our audience on an injury, not for the Niners, but for the Cardinals. Cardinals running back James Conner, who went down in the second half of this game with what looked like a pretty gnarly ankle injury. We're getting reports now from people such as Adam Schefter, very respected NFL reporters, that James Conner did in fact suffer a season-ending injury to his right ankle that will require surgery. The injury is considered, quote, severe, even if the team does not yet know the full extent of the damage. Terrible news for James Conner, Sterling, who, despite being a player that has killed the Niners time and time again, you never wish an injury like that to anyone, especially someone like James Conner, who's just proven throughout his career he's one of the toughest and most inspirational dudes in the NFL.
We saw him today in the first quarter, first half. He was running through arm tackles, and he was making plays. And, not to say that the Cardinals, are going to be without a running game without James Conner. It's a big loss for the offense, whether it is through the air or on the ground. He's a great dude. He's a great locker room guy for them, good leader, and has been a mainstay on the ground for them ever since he's been acquired by the Cardinals. And when you talk about, the Niners having so many injuries to their roster, and it stinks and it sucks, and the fan base is sitting back like, why can't we be healthy? Yep. For a Cardinals team and their fan base, they're thinking, hey, we're on the come up, and Connor's a big part of that. And you lose that guy for the whole year, it certainly makes their offense less dynamic. And for him, he's an older running back, and a severe injury, you don't know how many reps you have left. So hope James Conner gets healthy and gets back. He's really, really fun to watch. One of the best dual threat running backs in football. So sucks to hear, and hope he can get back soon.
Yeah, and he is 30. So yeah, he's on the wrong side of 30, and a severe injury like this, you never know with running backs in the NFL. So wish him the best. Really, really hate to see that. That highlight that our guy Cam played coming back from break, the Kyle Juszczyk touchdown catch. Cam is smart. He played that because we were talking about that, and it's what Kyle Shanahan was talking about, that we heard him say. He was thinking about using that play call on the 4th and goal a couple of possessions earlier, and he decided not to for some reason. It worked. The Kyle Juszczyk touchdown did. It worked after the Ricky Pearsall catch on 4th and 2, and it gives the Niners that lead. I thought what Kyle Shanahan did, Sterling, on that drive, that closed that drive late in the third quarter when the Niners go 11 plays, 63 yards, nearly 6.5 minutes off the clock. What Kyle Shanahan did on that drive to close the drive was inexplicable. I can't understand what was happening there. So first of all, clearly Mac Jones is like beat up. He can't really move very well. They get down to the 1 yard line on second down. So then on 3rd and goal from the 1, they hand it off to Christian McCaffrey to the right side on a stretch play. And Mac Jones is moving so slowly to the point where he can hardly even get there to hand it off to McCaffrey in time. Yeah. He had to dive headlong to hand it off to McCaffrey. McCaffrey gets met in the backfield by like 2 dudes, amazingly slips past them, and it gets like back to the 1 yard line. So now it's 4th and goal from the 1. You just saw Mac barely be able to hand the ball off to McCaffrey.
Hey, he's hopscotching his way to the running back to give him the football.
And what do? You call a pass. A Mac Jones pass. He's pressured immediately, has to then just throw the ball off to the left flat to McCaffrey. McCaffrey, because the play was rushed, can't get his head around, gets lit up by the linebacker Wilson, a teammate of Mac Jones at Alabama. It's incomplete, turnover on downs. The play call is one thing. Mac is limping, and you call a pass. I that kind of pass, I don't really get it initially. But also, they broke the huddle so incredibly late. The play clock was running down. I didn't think they even got the play off in the first place. You have all 3 timeouts. I know that you want to save your timeouts for a last drive if you need it. And guess what? They did need it. They needed all 3 of those timeouts to give them a really good chance. But you might not have needed those timeouts if you score a touchdown on that play on 4th and goal from the 1. I like going for it on 4th and 1. I think you can make an argument that going for it was the wrong decision because that was a field goal game. A field goal might have been enough to win the game, whatever. I like going for it. I tend to lean on the side of aggressiveness as opposed to kicking field goals. So I didn't have a problem with it. But if you're going to go for it on 4th and 1, don't make it a rushed play call. And don't make your team have to rush to get to the line of scrimmage. Take a timeout, get the right call in, take the pressure away from the play clock, and get the right call called. I can't believe that, 1, Shanahan made the decision to go for it, and 2, did not call a timeout when clearly the offense was not ready for that play.
Honestly, I would have just taken the field goal, which, in retrospect, who knows how the game goes if you make that and everything, but it's more because you don't know what's happening with your quarterback's leg. Obviously, he's staying out there because he feels like if I go out of the game, our chances go from a Mac Jones-level offense performance to Adrian Martinez, who has never taken a snap in the NFL.
Yep.
The odds are Mac Jones has to stay in that game in some capacity, but if you're Kyle, take the points. I get it. Be aggressive. I am all for that when your quarterback is healthy and you know what the issues are on the offense. But your run just got stuffed on 3rd down because your quarterback couldn't move and couldn't hand the ball off at a timely manner. Take the points, allow you to assess while you have the lead. Now, in some twisted way, you could say it worked itself out because your defense nearly forces a safety and you get a punt, and the very next drive you score a touchdown. So we could say it all ended the exact same way it was going to anyways, but in my POV, I'm like, you could have had a 10-point lead instead of a 7-point lead instead. So it's one of those plays where, for Kyle, I like the aggressiveness, but knowing Mac is hobbled and you clearly saw how it cost you on the last play, is to take a field goal.
Yeah.
To take a field goal.
Yeah, I always have... I'm generally, and I'm very open about this, and I know you know this, I am like just team aggressive, pedal to the metal, go for so many 4th downs, especially if you have a good offense, a good running back. Unless, time and score dictates not, I almost want my team to go for it on 4th and 2 like every time. Like that's how I feel. I believe in my team's ability to get 2 yards and move the clock or move the ball and move the chains. But there's 2 parts to this. And I get this inevitably sometimes in my mentions on Twitter or whatever it is. A team will go for it on 4th and 2 in a questionable area of the field, right? Like maybe they're still in their own half of the field, and they go for it on 4th and 2 or 4th and 3, and they don't get it. Or they go for it on 4th and goal from the 2, and they don't get it, and it costs them the game because a field goal ultimately was the margin, and they left 3 points out there by deciding to go for it and not getting it. But there's 2 parts to this. There's the decision to go for it, and then there's the play call when you go for it. I'm not defending someone on 4th and 2 calling a fade in the back right corner of the end zone. Like, no, get to your best 2-yard play And if you're telling me the fade is your best 2-yard play, then don't go for it. But get to your best call that gains you the 1 or 2 yards and make that play work. So there's two halves to this. It's the decision to go, and then it's the play call when you actually go for it. And I did not like that play call by Kyle Shanahan. I did not like that it was rushed. I do feel you, and I understand in a game like this where your defense was so great up to that point, take the points, move on. I get that side of it. I'm just saying if you're going to go for it, make sure that your offense is comfortable in that situation, because clearly Mac Jones hobbled and Mac Jones barely getting the snap off. It felt to me like that play was over before it even began, Sterling.
Or at least give us some creativity, do an end around or do some trickery. Obviously, again, Mac's mobility comes into play, but put guys in motion. None of that was on display. It was just, hey, spread out, drop back, and go. And clearly Mac is like, no one's open because they have dropped like 9 guys in coverage. They're covering everybody. Here's CMC, and Mac Wilson was waiting for it the entire time.
Yeah, he was.
He knew it was coming. Like, for as bad as the Cardinals' defense is, in my own opinion, I don't think they are incredible, but they got some guys out there. And Mac Wilson is one of those dudes who just, you can tell, his job was stop Christian McCaffrey. And for a lot of the game, he did stop Christian McCaffrey, and at that point in time, that felt like a massive momentum shift for the Cardinals. You stuff San Francisco on their end of the football field. You're feeling yourself. The game is tied. You played bend, don't break. And again, the next drive didn't work out for them, but that did feel like a momentum-stealing drive for the Cardinals defense. So sometimes you get away with things, and sometimes it pays to be lucky. And San Francisco, through 3 weeks, has been a little lucky on their drive. So I will take some luck instead of skill, but hopefully those two things can converge as the year goes on. That will really help this team win more games.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to get to game balls coming up in just a little bit, but what did you think of Mac Jones today? 27 for 41, 284 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Obviously, he was hobbled a bit in that second half, specifically the fourth quarter. The interception was pretty rough. Kyle Shanahan talked about it. It was just a bad play. Threw the ball 41 more times today, which is crazy. Had the 1 touchdown, made a good throw down the right sideline to Ricky Pearsall. To me, off first viewing, Sterling, I'm going to go home and watch it again. Off first viewing, did not seem as crisp and clean for Mac Jones today as it was last week in New Orleans.
Yeah, I think I'm ready for Brock Purdy to come back, to be honest with you. It was definitely a mixed bag for Mac, where against the Saints, he had 3 touchdowns, excellent on third down.
Yeah.
You're not going to likely have that same success every single week, so you expect NFC West opponent defense. Jonathan Gannon knows how to call plays and set his guys up well, so you expect a lesser or a lower scoring game in the lesser performance of Mac Jones, but he was fine. He got you a win. He was good enough to get you a win. Made some big plays. Also made a pretty dumb throw, which I think he himself said in his post-game press conference that they didn't make a good play. I just made a bad throw, so, I mean, whatever. Which is like, at least you know you did it. Just don't do it again if you have to play against Jacksonville or some point in the year. But the Mac Jones experiment, if you'll call it that, PCL injury, go on the bench, get healthy, Brock Purdy come back, and hopefully give us some more elite-level quarterbacking. You survived the Mac Jones era. Let's hopefully not go back to it this year if we don't have to.
Yeah, like in the world of backup quarterback performances, this was still above average.
Oh, 100%.
100%. But, yeah, he's a backup quarterback, and it's not always going to look like a starting quarterback. And last week, frankly, he looked like a starting quarterback. That's nothing against what he did today. Like this is better than you expect out of your backup quarterback, just in general across the entire NFL. And the Niners, they're 2-0 with their backup quarterback playing. Not many teams out there can say that. This is the quote that you're talking about from Mac Jones on his interception. Here's what he said post-game.
I threw it right to the guy, so it wasn't like he made a good play. I mean, good for him. He caught it, like awesome. But like, it was technically second part of my read, and I took a hitch to it and ripped it. I don't know. And he was standing right there, so I just got to get off of it. And I had an outlet down the sideline. That would have been my second part of the read. So could definitely do that, or just throw it over his head and maybe play 4th down or whatever, try and kick a field goal. I know it was pretty far at that point. But yeah, never want to do that. But at the end of the day, I did rip it and committed to my throw, so I won't take that one back.
Mac Jones showing up the personality there a little bit there. He had the whole room laughing. You don't hear that often, Sterling.
I mean, hey, this is a guy that was shirtless smoking cigars with the dad bought out in playoffs, so you can tell there is something to Mac Jones we don't see very often. He comes across very boring, but you can tell he keeps things lighthearted in that room. But let me ask you this. Would you rather have your quarterback rip it, which we've seen from Brock Purdy at times? It comes back to bite you, but take the chance, take the risk, make the big play, and sometimes it'll burn you, or play for a fourth down, play for a third down. I think I'm kind of in the middle where it's like in that time of the game where it's close and you can't afford to make an interception like Brock Purdy week 1 against Seattle, where it's like you got to make a better choice. But sometimes like Brock Purdy after his interception against Seattle in the back of the end zone, it kind of pays off for you. Yeah. So where do you sit on that stuff for Mac Jones?
Well, to be completely honest, I have the Sunday Night Football game up on the TV here in the studio right now, and we have the extreme of I'm just going to rip it in the New York Giants quarterback in Russell Wilson. Yeah. The Giants in the final minute of the first half. It's a tie game, by the way. Chiefs and Giants, a couple of 0-2 teams. It's 6-6. Giants in the final minute of the first half have the ball easily in field goal range. And on 2nd and 6, Russ says, you know what? Malik Neighbors down there somewhere and throws a jump ball to the end zone, intercepted. So I'm coming from
unlimited, man.
I'm coming from a little bit of a biased spot because I just watched him just rip it no matter what. I'm with you. I'm generally kind of in the middle. I think at times, like, in order to win a Super Bowl, you're going to have to take chances. Your quarterback is going to have to make those kinds of throws. Now, I think I'm generally influenced by, like, time and score and situation and the game going into it. This was not the game that you don't win this game by committing multiple turnovers. This is the game to keep it safe, shorten the game, longer drives, just try to really grind this one out. But there are games where you don't win unless you take chances. So I'm kind of more on a game-by-game, case-by-case basis. But you're right. You have to have a quarterback that at least has the ability and the guts to do that sometimes.
Which is kind of funny because I think me and you agree on where we both sit on this. But the Cardinals offense didn't score points or touchdown until they were letting the ball rip downfield. And they got lucky on a big PI, which sometimes that works in your favor, sometimes it doesn't. But the Cardinals aren't an explosive offense. They haven't been all year, and it was one of my talking points coming into the week of like, if you can survive their first big push, you're going to be in the game throughout. They can't close games. Yep. They aren't explosive. And once they got explosive in the passing game, the offense came alive for them. So maybe there's something to that where if you play the game like Kyler did and play it more conservative, you lose. Maybe Mac doesn't hit Pearsall on the fourth down conversion late in the game. But I don't know. I kind of ride in the lightning of like, it's working. So just don't complain while we're winning football games. But once we lose a game, I'll be right here saying, what are we doing? What's going on? But hopefully that's not for a while.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's hand out game balls here to wrap up overtime this Week 3 edition. Niners beat the Cardinals 16-15. Sterling, we'll begin with you on the offensive side of the football. Who gets your game ball?
Let's go with last year's first-round pick, Ricky Pearsall, 8 receptions, 117 yards, a long 34-yard fourth down conversion, 11 targets, was the second highest on the team. This team desperately needed somebody to step up. No Kittle, no Ayuk, no Juwan Jennings that got announced this morning for the team. So they needed a wide receiving threat. Pearsall was that. He was Mac Jones' favorite target of the day, and a continual third down, getter, fourth down conversion getter. Arguably the best offensive player on both teams today, if you combine them.
It's a great pick. Yeah, the Niners lose this game easily without Ricky Pearsall. He's their best threat in the passing game. If you just take away the dump-offs to Christian McCaffrey, he's really their only threat in the passing game. He's their only threat, like 10 or 15 yards beyond the line of scrimmage, because everything else is either McCaffrey or it's quick outs to Kendrick Bourne or it's just whatever tight end that they have in the game at the moment, kind of just sneaking out through the middle part of the formation for 8 yards. That is all they have in the passing game, and then it's Ricky Pearsall. So, hugely, hugely important. The other obvious one offensively that I'll go with is Christian McCaffrey. Still have not seen him break a big one on the ground. Did have a little bit more room today. 3.1 per carry, had a 15-yarder, had some other big ones that were taken away, bigger ones that were taken away because of a holding penalty. He could have easily had closer to 70 yards on the ground without those ones being taken away. So I think he was better on the ground today than he has been the last couple of weeks. But, I mean, in the passing game, it's really an extension of the run game, the quick dump-offs. Targeted 15 times, 10 catches, 88 yards. So what's that? That is 140 all-purpose yards for Christian McCaffrey today with 10 catches. Now in his 3 games so far this year, he's touched the ball 31 times week 1, 19 times week 2, 27 times today. That's 77 touches in 3 games, averaging nearly 26 per game, Sterling. And I'm sure he's feeling it today because, man, he took a lot of hard hits in this one. But he's looking great. Nearly 26 touches per game, but McCaffrey still looks really good.
Yeah, of all the guys that are on the shelf right now, I think a lot of people worried about Christian McCaffrey the most, and he is the guy that has touched the football the most and continues to get back up every single time. And I hope that can continue through the entire year, but his resiliency, the way he's able to kind of keep pushing himself every single play. I would like to see Brian Robinson more like we saw him against the Saints.
That was weird today. Yeah, I don't know why.
Which Robinson had the best run in the game for 19 yards, so maybe use your running back too in this case if you have an opportunity, but I digress. It's really, really good to see a healthy Christian McCaffrey out there. You see the respect he gets from the defense. You see what he can do in kind of getting guys open because he's a massive threat in the ground and through the air. So, CMC, whether he is touching the ball or not, he is still a massive threat for this offense and continues to be one of the best offensive players on the roster.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are the 2 easy ones, Ricky Pearsall and then Christian McCaffrey offensively. I'll lead us off defensively. I'll just take the easy one, Sterling. Sorry, Fred Warner. Fred Warner gets a game ball defensively. Maybe at a certain point we'll just take him off the board because he can be given a game ball every single game. We're not going to do that today, though. He led the team with 11 tackles. He was amazing again. Had a couple of passes defensed, including one on a big 3rd down in the second half in the 4th quarter. We felt like that might be like a game-changing moment. It eventually turned into the safety, and there was some madness that followed. But Fred Warner was everywhere once again. I mentioned how he called defensive coordinator Robert Saleh like a fortune teller. Somehow Robert Saleh knows what's going to happen before it happens. Fred Warner is out on the field. I mean, Fred Warner just somehow finds a way to be involved in every single play, whether he's making the tackle or not. He is involved on just about every single play. And I don't think there's a better defensive player in the game of football right now, Sterling. Fred Warner should be in the running for Defensive Player of the Year. It's been a while since a linebacker has won it. Luke Kuechly was the last real linebacker. There are linebackers that are pass rushers on the outside that have won it. But in terms of a linebacker who is the quarterback of the defense, the middle of the field, the last one to do it was Luke Kuechly a long time ago. Fred Warner deserves at the very least to be in that conversation. He was amazing again today.
We are saying prime Fred Warner out there the first 3 weeks of the season, and today was no different. The run stops, the pass breakups, the ability to command that defense. And I'm going to go on a limb and say right now already, Fred Warner is the best linebacker in San Francisco 49ers history.
That's a bold take. I mean, he's in there, but there's a lot of good linebackers.
And I love Willis. I love Bowman. There's so many guys. Ken Norton, albeit isn't on that level. There's been so many great guys in recent years. I think Fred's the best. The way he changes the game. Obviously, it's a different play archetype. It's a different play and skill set. But he just every single play you see 54 out there doing something. Whether it's getting a pass breakup, finishing off a tackle, or whatnot. He's an all-encompassing player where your eyes are drawn to him. Where with Nick Bosa, with the guys on the defensive line, you just look at 54 and say, that's the guy. The aura he has, the presence he brings, and the playmaking ability he has. Fred is Fred. He is so good. There's nobody better. Best linebacker in Niner history. I'm putting it right now. That is my flag I'm standing on. Fred is the best in Niner history.
I love it. Yeah, I mean, you're going to get some argument there just because how many people love Patrick Willis.
Yes. Rightfully so.
There are others in that combo. I think it's between Willis and Fred Warner, and I mean, you can't go wrong with either of those guys. But it is amazing that Fred, at this stage, he still has a lot of football ahead of him, is legitimately in that convo. I can't argue with you there. All right, who gets your defensive game ball, Sterling?
Do this quickly, and let's give it to the guy that made the biggest play of the day defensively late in the game. It's third down. I think it's 3rd and 9.
Yep.
Are the Cardinals going to run? Are they going to throw? Are they going to milk the clock? They're going to bleed your last time out. What are they going to do, San Francisco? Upton Stout. He loses against Zay Jones on the route, but he finishes the play, knocks the ball out, brings Jones to the ground. In what is the biggest play of his career thus far. Without that play, they lose this game. Obviously, there are so many pivotal plays in close games like this, but that one right there, the grit, the tenacity to finish off that play through a whistle and get not a PBU, but kind of a pass breakup. He's a 3rd-round pick fighting for a spot, and he's earned it through camp and preseason. They're trusting him as a young player, and he's showing that he can be a fruitful guy for you into his 3rd game. So sky is the limit for him, and today, massive 3rd-down play, break up the pass, and gave your offense a chance. All they need is a chance, and the defense continues to save them this season.
Absolutely. Yeah, and Kyle Shanahan called it, quote, unbelievable post-game, that play by Upton Stout. You're right, Niners lose that game if he does not make that play, because Zay Jones had a catch until Upton Stout managed to sneak his hand in there and poke that ball free. Biggest play of the game up to that point, and then the Eddie Pinheiro field goal gives the Niners the win. Final score 16-15. Okay, that'll do it for us today. Sterling, been a pleasure as always. I will see you in a week. When Jacksonville comes to town, Niners will try to go to 4-0 versus Trevor Lawrence and Jacksonville. I'll talk to you in a week, Sterling.
Demarcus Robinson's back, baby.
He is back.
Let's get it.
Maybe Juwan Jennings back. Maybe Brock Purdy back. Time will tell. We'll, of course, keep you updated all week here on 95.7 The Game. That's Sterling Bennett. For my guys behind the glass, Cam Williams and Steven Risotto, I'm Mark Randy signing off. Thanks for listening. We got the morning roast bright and early tomorrow at 6 a.m. Until then, this is Mark Randy signing off. Thanks for listening on 95.7 The Game.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists come and go.